Class, today we are going to be talking about things that rot your brain. Teacher, I hear the Rob Taylor report will rot my brain. Is that true? What a tool. Well, that's correct, Susie. If you listen to the Rob Taylor report, it will rot your brain. Therefore, you must dive under your desk, grab the back of your head, and do the duck and cover maneuver. Let's see this example. Mama, I want to watch the Rob Taylor report. Timmy, no! It's too late. You've been warned. Children should not watch the Rob Taylor report. Somebody please think of the children!
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the Friday Night Rant. I got a lot of things happening on here. I've got one guest we're trying to get dialed in. It's okay. We'll get him in here in a minute. And I'm going to bring on Marty, and I'm going to bring on Samantha. How are you two doing for the Friday Night Rant?
I'm good.
We're set to go. Yeah, I actually banished my cat from the room because the cat will start climbing up and pulling the cords on my computer. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want that going on. So
this guy, sometimes I can't help it.
Yeah. But
how you doing, Rob?
I'm not doing bad. I've got Joseph here, but
hi.
Joseph may need headphones.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Did he end up leaving?
No, I turned one off and turned another on.
Oh, good.
Well, there you go. Perfect.
What
happened is he turned on his phone, and when he turned on his computer, it was the total feedback.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's how my life's been for 20 years, has been a total feedback. So
I've never had an issue with logging in with my computer and sound. So this is a whole new first for me, and checking all my mics that they showed being full, everything working. I just don't know why I wasn't receiving.
It happens. I don't know why StreamYard does that kind of stuff, and I have problems with people who have used Firefox. That's another one, and which is weird because I have to use Firefox for StreamYard for my cell phone to get the lavalier microphones to work. So it's crazy how technology is.
Yes, I agree.
I spent 3 hours this morning getting my computer back to where it was last night when I turned it off, because I did an update. And the updates worked all my video drivers. So instead of having multiple monitors, I had one 640 by 480 monitor that I had to figure out how to fix the computer with. And I'm like, oh boy, this is so much fun.
Hopefully you didn't lose any.
No, it was just a device driver for the monitors. NVIDIA had to do an upgrade because there's a glitch in NVIDIA video drivers that allows somebody to take control of your computer. So they kind of had to fix that security flaw. But in the process of doing that, they also worked the computer. So I don't have to worry about anybody breaking into the computer if the computer's not working. So there you go. I guess it is a good fix.
It is
not
a good
ideal,
fix.
but a fix,
right?
Yeah, it was funny when I got on here, and I'm getting lazy because I got onto the computer just 10 minutes before the show, and maybe 15 at the latest, and there was a restart for an update, and I was like, no, please, no. And so I did it because it said it'd only take 3 minutes. It's in my new computer back here in the back bedroom, so it went through. But man, if it was my other computer, this show would have been canceled. Every time an update happens, 45 minutes later.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Normally I'm sitting at my table at a different location, and tonight I was like, I want to be comfortable. So I moved everything. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but yeah. I moved everything last minute, about 20 minutes till. Got everything set up, got it all plugged in. I was all happy. I looked up, I was like, all right, 10 minutes, gonna get in, logged in, and then it wouldn't let me in. The link wasn't working for me, and I'm like, what's going on? So I resent it, and that's when I told you the link wasn't working. And then it let me in. And yeah, no sound. I'm like, I
No
can't.
sound. Damn.
So,
Damn.
and I hate, really truly hate being on my phone because my phone messes with my eyes.
My phone messes with my eyes too. Kevin Starrett, if I send him a message, he'll send it back to me. Rob, what's the matter with me? I'm an old man. Send it to me in email. I can't see it, man. It's like he chews me out. It's like, okay. So anything I send him, I know I have to go through an email. It's like,
I just found this out yesterday that the text on my phone, I can actually use like this thing in the text window, and it makes the text actually larger. And I was like, wow. So I don't have to look at like 13-point font. I can look at like 72-point font. Now that means there's one letter per screen when I'm trying to read.
But the problem is you stand there doing this, trying to get your screen to zigzag back and forth. So I need a tablet about that big.
My issue isn't that I can't read it. It's that if I'm on here too long, I things just start going blurry.
Yeah.
So I try to stay away from my phone as much as possible. Unfortunately, though, I have two phones, and I'm always got somebody, sending me a text message. Somebody. So there's always just I'm going back and forth all day long on my phones. So so I was like, all right, no phones. I stayed off the phone for 2 hours. That way I wouldn't have a problem. And I can already tell the short time that I've been on the phone, my eyes are already starting to mess with me.
I'm sorry. We will work that out for next time because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of things happening in Multnomah County. So I got to ask you, Joseph, you're the chair of the Multnomah County Republicans. I just got a few questions for you. Do you guys dress up in inflatable frog outfits when you're all walking around? Is that just a Portland thing, or?
As much as that sounds like fun, no, we don't do that. We will put on our flag shirts. We will put on our motorcycle shirts. We will put on any kind of patriot shirt that we have to wear, but we definitely do not do frog suits. Not happening.
Yeah. And of course, you're fully clothed when you go bicycle riding, right?
Very much so. Yeah.
What I don't understand about the nude bicyclists is why are all the attractive people have fully dressed on their bicycles, but it's always guys who are my age and way overweight who are the ones who are naked, or women who are way overweight who are naked, and you're like, put some clothes on. That's an insult.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I don't understand it, and so I just do myself a favor and I stay away from it. Nope, I'm not going there.
Do you live in Portland? Because Multnomah County is more than just Portland, but do you live in Portland?
I live in North Portland, so I live in the St. John's area.
Wow.
So I grew up here. Went to school locally. I did bus out of North Portland over to Southeast Portland to Central Catholic. But yeah, born and raised in North Portland. Bought my first house in '85. In '91, I turned this into a rental, and then moved out to East County. Was out in East County for 20 years, and unfortunately went through a divorce, so I moved back to North Portland. And I've been here back in North Portland since 2011.
How is it being a conservative, being a Republican? How is it living in Portland? What's it like? Because we all have, in a red county, we're so safe out here because I can say whatever I want anywhere. But in Portland, there's some places where I kind of might want to keep my opinion to myself. So I don't know.
There are times you are walking on eggshells. Just let's go with that. I don't want to deal with the garbage, so I bite my P's and Q's and just pass on through. Just leave it alone.
Yeah.
But the other day at David Douglas, that wasn't happening.
So you tell us the story, because I only heard it in briefing, and there was a lot of things going on. I don't know if you heard about what happened with Steve Hamerson being on the school board in Roseburg and all that stuff. And so there's been a lot of issues with the schools. tell us what happened and what they were trying to do at the school and why you were there.
I only learned about the Wednesday flag wave, not a protest, flag wave. We were just going there in support of a student. So it was just a flag wave. I learned about it late Tuesday night. All of a sudden I got a text message. All right. So I followed Charlie Kuhrt. God bless his soul. I followed him, and when I saw that this young man was trying to start a youth chapter at David Douglas, and the email or the text message that I got was that this young man had attempted a meeting. The school first denied his First Amendment rights at holding a meeting at the school. So it was challenged by his parents. So they said, sure, but you can't have any outside visitors or parents with you. So a few of his friends got together. They met in a room, and the school allowed a mob of protesters to come in. Rumor has it that they had pushed them or held them up against the wall for a time, maybe as much as 15 minutes. I've heard a couple of different stories on that. Before the teachers came in and actually broke it up, and then canceled the meeting at that point. He wanted to have a second meeting, which was supposed to be on Wednesday. There was some issues, so I don't know what the issues were. Might have been threats. I don't know. I'm going to say I'm speculating there, but whatever it was, his mom gave him permission not to go to school on Wednesday. But there were all of us who had already put the cry out to show up, stand there, and gave him support. So even though he wasn't there, we were there to support him, to show him that we think that he should be standing up for his First Amendment rights, and we just wanted to be there. So initially we got there, and the idea was we were standing on a sidewalk because we weren't allowed on school property, so we had to stay on the sidewalk, and we weren't going to reply. So we got a lot of birds kept flying over there that day. A lot of people yelling and screaming at us, calling us names, and we just stood there. We were told to go home, and we just stood there. So after about 2 hours, we finally started having conversations with some of the students. Those conversations, some got heated. We did a really good job at just being Charlie. Stayed calm, answered questions, waited for them to get their rants out, tried to finish answering questions. Whereas the students weren't so nice. You know, they were yelling, they were screaming, they were cussing. And the teachers, there were at least 8 teachers at any given time and they even put out that, they weren't going to allow any berating or anything like that. And well, they did nothing about it. The berating, if we would have made a negative comment, sound like we were harassing a student, we would have probably had to have left.
Oh,
they would have made us leave. Oh yeah, definitely. So we took the stuff. We finally got to a point to where if we could get the kids into groups of 8 or less, we had some really great conversation.
Yeah.
And even in the end there, some of the students will, we're gonna disagree, but we appreciate you guys coming here and sharing your viewpoint. And we said the same thing to them. If you go to my Facebook page, you can see the video that I shared. And there was a couple of grandparents there that really created division. So the positive talks that we're having because of these grandparents, those conversations started to deteriorate.
Wait, wait a minute. The grandparents became the problem? Wait a minute. People our age, I'm a grandparent. You got a little bit of gray on your chin there. You look like you're getting up there, yo.
I got 9 of them.
Whoa.
I got
okay,
9.
so you were a busy man.
So I have all daughters.
Oh my God, 9 daughters?
No. 4 daughters, 9 grandkids.
Oh wow. Wow. Bless you, sir. Bless you. You have done your duty for this country.
I remember being a kid, and I think I don't want me. But on the same sense, I have 3 brothers out of the 4 of us. For some reason, God picked me to be the one to be normal. When people would meet my brothers and we were all together after we would break up, people asked me, "So what happened to you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know." So, blessing, I would say I would give that credit to the Lord. Without him in my life, I probably would be a mess like my family. But I love my family. They are who they are. And I'll accept that.
I'm with you, man. I've having a large family, coming from a huge family. There are some that you just go, God bless that cousin. You know what I mean? It's like,
right,
yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of challenges when I was growing up. My dad spent the first 15 years of my life in and out of jail. So there was that challenge. It was quite the challenge, which meant I grew up on welfare. And God put the right men in my life, and those men gave me direction. So
that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. And that's the difference, I think, that helps younger people. And going back to our conversation, you were doing just that with these young people. And then the grandparents get in, and what? They were a bunch of ultra liberals?
Oh, seriously. In the video, you see this older lady, and she's definitely older than us. And she starts getting the kids to chant. As we're trying to hold these conversations, she just steps in and starts clapping her hands and starts running a chant. And it's like, really? And then at one point she told me to go home. I said, no, actually, you should go home and allow us to have our discussion. We're just here talking. We're not doing anything else. And she's like, you can't tell me what to do. I was like, I didn't tell you anything except you can go home. You have that choice. It's a choice. Or you can stay. It's all good. At one point, the majority of the teenagers, the high school kids that were extremely disruptive were grouped together. And they'd asked me a question. So I was trying to answer it, and I had like 3 of them just start telling me to shut up. And I'm like, you're going to let me, you asked me a question. Do you want me to answer it? And they just kept saying, shut up, shut up. And I was like, I was done. No, you shut up. And they were like, oh, you can't do that. I said, if you don't like it, then don't do it yourself.
Hold on. You can't do that, but they can do that. And I'm like going, first off, do any of these kids know the definition of hypocrisy? When you say, you can't say that, while they are just finishing saying that, do they not understand the fact that, they are creating a situation where they are being the ones that are the bad people? And we're just saying, we just want a dialogue. I mean, if you got questions, I'll be more than happy to answer. Somebody was taken aback when they came up to our booth when we were gathering signatures, and they started asking me pointed questions. And I'm like, well, how much information do you want? And I mean, I'll be more than happy to answer all your questions. And, and at some point, well, can you guarantee that this is not going to happen? I'm like, I can't guarantee anything. I'm just a guy sitting in a booth gathering signatures. I mean, but if you want to have a dialogue about why I'm doing what I'm doing and why I think this vote by mail is a bad thing or whatever it was they were yammering about. And I'm like, if you want to have a discussion, I'm great with that. I'm fine with that. If you want to have a yelling match, well, I can probably beat you at that too, but I don't want to because, you never argue with idiots because they'll baffle you with BS and drag you down to their level. And it's like, yeah, I really don't need to have an idiot, I don't need to have an idiot match right now.
Right. That was the one thing that my dad blessed me with is an outside voice. And I've always been told when I'm in the house, hey, bring it down. Because I talk loud.
Yeah.
And so, and you reminded me of the question. The question had to do with taxes and President Trump taking all our tax dollars. I said, he's not taking our tax dollars. In actuality, my daughter's a CPA and she does my taxes. And I'll tell you, after the first year Trump was in office, and I didn't get as much back as I thought I should, I was calling her and asking her why. Well, she set me straight. She was like, get your taxes out. I said, okay. So I did. And I pulled them out. She goes, look, what'd you pay last year? And then she goes, what'd you pay this year? And I ended up making more money and paid a little less than I did the year before. And this was a couple of years ago, not speaking of this year. This was a couple of years ago. And I realized, so I made more money. I paid less in taxes and I got the same amount back. So he is saving me money because I saved in my check. They wouldn't allow me to get that out. And that's when they were telling me to shut up, because I was like, okay, hey, you asked the question. I'm trying to answer it for you. And then they started saying, oh, yeah, he's spending the money on the $200 million. I said, that's coming out of his pocket and donors' pockets. It's not taxes. You need to get your facts straight.
Is that for the ballroom at the White House, where it's like he's funding that himself, as opposed to the these $42 billion plan to put fiber into rural areas, that all the money was lost and nobody was hooked up to fiber? Why?
All the money was lost. Oh, Marty, I'm so glad you said that. I haven't heard people talk about that in a while, but that was huge. The amount of money the Obama administration put into that crap, and we were all told we're all going to get mainlined. Oh, well, we didn't get mainlined. We got cornholed.
We got cornhole. There you go. Yeah. That's a good term. So it just was, they were all over the place. And then ICE, we got into ICE, and which was extremely interesting. And they kept bringing me Zechariah, I believe 19:2 or something like that, and something about loving the foreigner in your land. I said, well, yep, you're right. We are to love them, and I agree with you 100%. I said, but what about the rest of the scriptures? Jesus talks about this. And just as much as we are to love our neighbors and love the foreigners, we're also held accountable for what we do. Jesus said that the thought of having, what's the word? I just went blank.
The alarm clock goes off and my mind goes blank.
I know, just as you were thinking that, the alarm clock was going off. Basically, coveting your neighbor's wife or whatever. That's a sin. Just the thought is a sin, and you will be held accountable to it. So
you can handpick scriptures for just about anything you want. I mean, it's one of those things where, sure, it's like, just love thy neighbor and, be kind to the foreigners. But there's also stuff where if people are invading your shore, you should be able to smite them heartily and, and take any measures you want to get them out of you, get them out of your area so that you can protect your own. There's nothing about the whole, let them come in and let them rip you off and, steal all your money and steal all your services and live off your taxes. No, there's none of that in the
what did Christ say? Melt down your plowshares and turn them into swords. I mean, Christ never said be used as a doormat. There's nowhere in the Bible that the Lord wants his Christians to be used as doormats. And when they use the Bible, see, this is the problem I have with some Christians. They love to use God and Bible and Scripture as the sword, as the shield, and as the crutch. They think they can use it, and it's to be used for to be saved, not for the sword, the shield, or the crutch. It's for you to be saved. This is what the Bible and the word of Christianity and the teachings are all about going into the kingdom of heaven, right? That's what it's all about. And then you got these Christians who want to twist and turn it and use the Bible, like I said, as the sword and the shield and the crutch, because every time they level the Bible and scripture against other people, that's what they're doing. And then when they turn it around and say, well, you can't say that because I'm a good Christian, they're using it as a shield. And just the fact they used it for either of those reasons makes it a crutch. They can't do that.
I had several students bring that one verse to me. Several students bring that one verse to me. And I kept asking, what about the rest of Scripture? I said, because God is justice also. He holds everyone accountable for your sins. And to come into a country illegally or to steal a pack of gum has the same value in God's eyes. It's a sin, and we are all sinners. Well, then they started, that was the fun part. I got to that, and boy, oh boy, I'm not a Christian. They started pointing at me and telling me, I was like, and it was like, all right, well, go for it. I'm going to stand here and let you have it. I'm not
arguing Scripture. Yeah. You're quoting the Bible, but you're not a Christian. Yeah.
I was like, you can tell me whatever you want to tell me. You're welcome to your opinion. That's actually my response was, you're welcome to your opinion. You're welcome to your opinion.
And that's what we all believe in. We're everyone on this panel right here believes that everyone has a right to their opinion, no matter how moronic that opinion might be. And that's the sad part. See, that's freedom. It's that double-edged sword where if you want your freedom, and I'll go back to scripture, love thy neighbor as you would love thyself. Well, why would you do that? Because you not just love him because he's a great person. My neighbor's an asshole. But I love him because he has rights, the same rights that I have. And because I'm a selfish bastard, I want to fight vigilantly for those rights and his rights too, because of the same rights, right?
Exactly.
And some of us too, all of us on this panel actually fight for everyone's rights in our county, right? So and Jesus fought for everybody, all of his people, to have those rights too. He turned the tables over. So
there are times when Rob needs to remind me that we're fighting for everyone's rights, because there's sometimes when I'm like going, "Oh, just tell that guy to shut up," and it's like, "Oh, well, he's got his right. He's got his freedom of speech, and as much as I detest what he's saying, he's got a right to say it." And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess you're right, but I'd still like to just tell him to F off." So oh well.
I love James McHenry. He's got a quote down here. He says, "Those people love to quote mine and take things out of context." Yeah, they love to quote the Bible and take things out of context is what I think is in here. Ivan Hawker. Ivan, you are hilarious. I need to get me a fancy microphone and a custom wall in my office. That's what you need. And
is he talking about your fancy? Is he talking about your fancy microphone and your custom wall? Or is he talking about my fancy microphone and my custom wall?
I would be talking about yours. You got a really neat one.
My custom wall is a bed sheet from Kmart that I painted and used magic markers on to draw a picture. So that's super fancy. Cost me like $8 in paints and bed sheets. Oh boy.
These are vinyl panels that I glued up against the wall because I'm in the back room and it echoes. And until I got something up to cut down that echo, it was horrible in here.
The previous guy, the guy that made the comment prior, James, look at his name.
James McHenry?
That's why he said that.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so I'm sorry. You're right. Those people love to quote mine and take things out of context. I get it. Okay, James McHenry.
We're quick on the uptake tonight. Boy.
Well, at least you can see them. They're too small on my phone. I can't.
Oh yeah, no point. Yeah, good point. Yeah, we can see comments from people that are people that are commenting on Facebook and YouTube and X. We can see their comments on the side, and then we can click on them and put them up on the screen. So, if somebody gives us a nice comment, we'll put it up on the screen. If somebody gives us an odd comment, we may or may not put it up on the screen. Really depends on what they have to say. So
Yeah.
it's part of how the whole StreamYard fun times work.
So going back to scripture, this is Oregon Outlaw, and I know Oregon Outlaw. He's a old timey brimstone and fire kind of. He's Old Testament, okay. That's Oregon Outlaw. He's totally Old Testament, but he says God gives us free will. That's right. God gives us free will. And why does he do that? Because he loves us so much. He wants us to choose right and wrong, and he hopes that we choose what's right. And it's all up to us. And that's what we've lost in society, because everyone wants to blame society itself for their problems without taking responsibility for their own bad choices.
That was so understood while we were talking to these children. They are so misguided right now with the liberal education that they're getting, that there is no personal ownership of what they're doing. It's, oh, he caused me to do that because he did this or she did that. Well, one of the students said, well, we're concerned. We have a diverse high school. We're concerned of their extreme rightism, that they're going to bring division. Well, how do you know that? Why don't you give them a chance to get to learn the young man, and let them talk, and you guys have conversations instead of pushing them up against the wall and holding them there until teachers come in?
Yeah, is it truly diversity? Is it truly diversity if you don't allow other people to speak, even if you don't like what they have to say? That's not diversity at all. So essentially, you're saying it's diversity through through homogeneousness, I guess is the best word I can come up with at the moment, which means if you don't agree with what we have to say, then you're too radical for us and we don't have to listen to you. And it also comes into the whole idea of nobody's been taught the whole idea that you are responsible for your actions. And, it's one of those things where everybody is like turned into victim culture. It's like, it's not my fault I'm fat. It's not my fault I'm blank, 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 a drug addict or whatever. And then fill in the blank. It's because I've been, because of racism, because of, I'm being oppressed. It's because oppressed my buttocks. I mean, come on, this is not. You're fat, lazy, ugly, stupid, and narrow-minded because you don't like to have to think. You don't want to be responsible for the fact that you've made bad decisions. And life is difficult when you're stupid, and life is even more difficult when you're stupid and you make bad decisions. So
there's the difference is my upbringing, and probably yours also. By the age of 10, I knew that if I did something wrong, I'm paying for that consequence. I'm going to receive my just due. So I knew that at 10, my parents, my teachers, they all taught that. My scoutmasters, all that stuff. I had an understanding. If I did something that they didn't like, that went outside the norm of, being polite, being respectable, I was going to pay that price.
Yeah.
So, and what's funny was I was more afraid of my teachers than I was of my parents. I didn't want my teachers to think I was a bad person. My parents, they're my parents. They're going to see every angle, and that's just not going to change. But I always wanted my teachers to see the positive side of me. So I didn't like to get in fights at school. I didn't like to cause problems at school. So for the longest time, I always ran. And boy, I tell you, I was fast. But there came a point in life where I got tired of running. It's like, okay, you have an opinion. I disagree with it. Now then, if you're going to do something about your opinion, I'm going to respond. You better be ready for that. And usually it got the two of us into mopping the cafeteria. So we and a lot of times, those adversaries became my friends. We were able to discuss what we did, and we worked it out while we were mopping the cafeteria floor. That's the difference. Today, kids have no consequence. They don't have to worry about anything. Perfect example. My wife is a paraeducator, and in 2017, part of her job was to shadow troubled students. Well, this troubled student, as my wife was walking into one of the classrooms, yanked the door out of her hand and shoved it back into her, and she ended up with a herniated disc in her neck. He got a half a day out of school, and she's on disability now.
Did you hear about the teacher who was just recently killed, the student who kicked the teacher and the teacher died? That just happened.
I did not hear about that.
And I just saw it a couple hours ago, but it was one of those instances where you have a troubled kid, and I go back to, and this is kind of part of the broken window philosophy. They need to do this with kids. You need to catch kids and punish them on the little stuff first, because if you don't punish them on the little stuff, it gets up to the big stuff. You have daughters, you have grandkids. You know what happens. You what is it? Spare the rod, spoil the child. Very
exactly.
In fact,
my kids' mom and I, we had decided early on, because I only swatted my kids a couple times. One time I swatted one of my daughters. Wasn't a hard swat, but she went running to mom, and mom checked her bottom, and my handprint was there. And I was like, I didn't hit her that hard. But from now on, any corporal punishment you will be doing, I'm not going to. And we worked it. The threat. Remember what happened to your butt last time? So the kids didn't know this part of the corporal punishment was always going to fall onto mom. But remember what happened to your butt last time? You're going to get one of those. Go stand in the corner. We'll talk in 5 minutes. And then, in 5 minutes, they came out. We sat down. We had discussions. And after the discussion, we had, what are we going to do next time? We found resolve. Hey, I love you. Give them a hug. Hold them. Let them know that I care about them, and I don't want them to make that mistake in the future. And boy, I have a CPA daughter. I have a daughter who sells houses, and I have a daughter who is a dental veterinarian district representative.
Cool.
So, and then my stepdaughter is a she works for the credit union and assistant manager. I don't remember exactly what her title is now.
You're going to be getting a call.
Yeah. Right?
Dad.
And then there's good old what's your name who's doing something or other somewhere, but
right.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the biggest threat to me was, my dad traveled a lot, so it was like, wait till your father gets home, and it's like, oh man. And for me, it wasn't. I don't think I can't remember a single instance of physical punishment. Maybe swatted once or twice, but and I think I got it once in junior high from the principal. But it was mostly I didn't want to disappoint. I didn't want to disappoint my parents. Right. I didn't want to disappoint my teachers. Yeah. Their harshest rebuke would be something like, "Really, you did that? I thought you were smarter than that. I thought you could do better. This is really going to change my attitude about who I think you are." And it's like, no, wait, it was a mistake. I'll do better next time. And that was, for me, that was what turned me around. It would be like, it's getting the harsh rebuke of, wow, I thought you could take care of yourself. I thought I could trust you. And now you put that into question. I don't think I'm going to be able to trust you from here on out. And it's like, wait, I can do better.
I'll tell you what, that wouldn't have worked on me because, I'm just that way. But no, we'd get the wooden spoon or the belts or the brush or the shoe. Sometimes they would throw the shoe. Hey, Ma, I got your shoe in my eye. And so, yeah, it was always interesting. But yeah, your father's on his way home that always got me. Okay, I may not be here tonight.
Yeah. Oh, and
how were
plus
you
the fact,
punished, Sam? How did they punish you when you were a kid? Because you're a girl, you know.
Well, if you could believe, I was kind of a rebel.
No,
No.
not you, Sam.
Not you.
Yeah, my dad was a timber faller, very big muscles, very big man, 6'3", and I wasn't very scared of him, even though I should be. He paddled me until I was probably 13, 14 years old, and he let me have it, and I cried every time. I was like, no, Dad, no, and he would take me over his lap and just whack, whack, and sometimes he just grabbed anything just to save me. Yeah. So, but each and every time I regretted what I did, right?
Yes.
But I was a rebel. I did what I wanted to, basically, regardless of what my parents told me. But they did punish me, and I remember that, So, and I eventually straightened out, took the military, so.
Nice.
I respected my elders, after the military. Yes, sir. No. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, sir. My parents were just like, that Sam, like, what happened to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of structure, a little bit of regiment, a couple of miles in the woods with a heavy backpack. Yeah, it's amazing what that would do.
That'll change your opinion.
Yeah. No, it did. It changed my outlook of the power structure of your parents. Like, your parents are the power, and you should respect them. Yeah. So,
and I like what Joseph and Marty said especially about the teachers. That was true too. I have to admit, there were some teachers that I would never want to disappoint, but then there were some teachers that I just terrorized. I could tell you some horrible stories that I did bad things to teachers, and yes, I was one of those. I wasn't a rebel. I was just a bad child. Okay, so. There was especially substitute teachers. If I didn't like them, oh my gosh, I was so mean. But I would never think of physically touching a teacher. And that's the difference today, is that they have no resistance of just attacking people. And it's like, whoa, we don't do that. I mean, if you do that, buddy, there's going to be a problem, because I'm going to beat your ass. You know what I mean?
Right. So, a couple things in this area. So, as I said, my dad spent the first 15 years of my life in and out of jail, and so he would come home. All of a sudden, he's dead, and he laid down the law, and whatever he could grab onto. If he couldn't find anything, he used his open hand. I didn't like to use anything. I tried my open hand once. And that's out. Mm-hmm. Now then, this young man that attacked my wife when she was working, he got sent home 2 hours early, I think, from school. He got a long weekend for it. Was back in school Monday. He went after the male paraeducator at 6'6", 260 pounds, who just walked out of school. He's like, I'm not dealing with that. They went through several paraeducators dealing with this young man, and they could never get him under control, and there was never, ever any recourse to his actions. I understand he pulled a knife on the teacher, again, sent home, back in school the next day. No recourse. In our time, we'd have done something stupid like that. It would have been over with. We're out. We're done. Expelled. We're not coming back to school. Got to find a new school.
You pulled a knife, you're going to juvie. You pulled a knife, that was it. You were off to juvie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where we would have ended up, in juvie. And that was one of the things that I dealt with as a child. And like I said, my brothers and I, was that my aunts, my uncles, my godparents, friends of the family, all looked at me and would say, Joe, you're the one that's going to do your mom right. You're going to make your mom proud. Well, that's a lot of weight for a little kid to carry. And I carried that all the way through grade school and high school. I was going to go into the military, and I regret my decision, but I had someone tell me that the military is for people like me who have nothing, gone nowheres, never have anything, will never amount to anything. You need the military. And I'm like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
I wish I wouldn't have listened, because life would be a little different. And, but I always respectful. I went through Scouts. I'm an Eagle Scout. So I understand the respect to the flag. I understand respect of my elders. And that was ingrained, in Cub Scouts.
Yeah.
Started young, and they started working on it.
Yeah.
And so, and now we have just Scouts. Like, Scouts is supposed to be for young boys, so we can teach them how to become young men.
Yep.
Yeah.
And nothing personal, Sam, but I'll tell you what, that's the worst thing you can do for a young group of boys between 12 and 14 who already feel awkward around girls. Oh, let's shove a girl in here and let's all get personal with everyone else, because we want to tell the Scoutmaster nothing now because we don't want to embarrass ourselves in front of the girl. And it just screws up the whole makeup of the Scout thing. It would have been really bad, because I couldn't imagine having girls in Scout, because that's what you were there for. You were with your buds, you were going fishing, you were going camping, you were going canoeing. I did all those things. And, they had Girl Scouts. They had a Girl Scout camp just down the street at the lake where we were at. Why do they need to be in our camp? You know what I mean? And now they're bitching because guys want to wrestle them and play. It's like, well, maybe it's payback. I don't know, but it seems like something got screwed up.
I take no offense over that. Believe me, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts. When we go into basic training in the military, there's the women's side and then there's the men's side. It's not co-ed. It is not. The training is completely separate. So Boy Scouts stay Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts stay Girl Scouts. I am in total belief of that. They should be 100% separate.
Yeah. Michaela agrees with you. She says 100%, Rob, boys need their separate spaces. Amanda Hawker. Hi, Amanda. And by the way, hi, Michaela. I'm glad you guys are watching. She says teachers are very, very restricted in being able to call out a child or giving any discipline at all, even verbal. State or Oregon or Board of Education ties their hands. They are afraid of lawsuits. It's so wild. I've heard this from school board members. I've heard this from teachers. I've heard this from janitors. And it's true. They don't allow, and you just proved it by saying this recidivism of this kid just went completely ignored. And at a certain point, the recidivism and the pattern itself shows a psychopathy of criminality. You know what I mean? This kid is going to be a criminal. Yeah.
And by the time, if he doesn't kill someone by the time he gets out of high school, it's not going to be long after that he's going to take a life of somebody because
the
he
clock's
wasn't held
ticking.
responsible. Yes.
It's not if, it's when.
Yes.
So I can tell you kind of how, because I worked in the public school system, and how I got away with a lot of stuff that a lot of full-time teachers couldn't get away with is being a sub. Try to fire a sub. They won't want to do it unless of course they have vaccine mandate, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, a sub kid can do anything, like anything. I mean, I didn't punish any kids or anything. Actually, the kids were more prone to come and talk to me because I was the cool teacher that actually taught, and actually taught them material. So in fact, I taught Michaela's kids at a private school. But
you want to hear the worst thing I did to a substitute teacher?
What?
Oh yeah, this was really bad. I have to confess my sins here. When I think it was in 10th or 11th grade, we had a substitute teacher, and boy, we just did not like her. And she was there for a couple of weeks, and she was leaving on Friday. Well, this was zoology. And you know how in zoology they have all those specimens in the jar? Well, one of those specimens, which was a squid, ended up in her purse. I don't know. I'm a bad person. I feel so bad about that. And I think this is the first time I've told that story in 40 years. But yeah, I was a jackass. And I wish I could go back and tell that lady I'm sorry. She never came back. We never saw her again. So, and it was because of me, jackasses like me. And if I would have got caught, they should have punished me severely. You know what I mean? I was wrong in doing it. I should have been punished. But yeah, that was the kind of kid I was, and I'm, it's just, what can I say? I grew up to be hopefully a better man.
Keep hoping.
What's that?
You reminded me of my 7th grade year. I went to a private school. The teacher, it was a nun. She was out. I don't remember what the story was, but we had a lay teacher come in, and she was real frail, small, soft-spoken, and you know how kids are when they start, and it was the whole class. I remember this clear as day. None of us were innocent from giving this. We didn't lay hands on her, but we just made her feel like crap. And we beat her up for days. And finally, I don't remember how far into her time with us, she walked out of the school. And the principal saw her going out. Principal was a nun, Sister Eusebia. And Sister Eusebia didn't have a problem with bringing she had an oversized ping pong paddle that had holes in it. And she didn't have a problem with bringing that in and putting it on your bottom side. And she come into class and she said, "What is going on?" And we were terrified. The next teacher they brought in, we were on our best behavior because none of us wanted to.
Yeah. The nun.
The nun.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Let me tell you, if that teacher would have been a nun, I wouldn't even have messed with her. First off, there's the spiritual thing, but then it's a nun. This lady can do things to you that nobody else can. And being a Catholic and being an altar boy, I know this. And, all my cousins went to Catholic school, and you'd hear the stories about the wrapping of the knuckles with the ruler. That was what they'd get. And so, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't mess with a nun. That would have, but this was public school. So, but
yeah, no, this was,
I'm not excusing it by at all.
I went to private school all the way through, all 12 grades, and Sister Mary Eusebia, and she was an older teacher, and she had no problem with bringing the discipline. And again, as an example, 6th grade, she was for half a day, I had her as my teacher. Then the second half of the day, the science teacher was my teacher. So I walked to school that morning, and I was experimenting with cigarettes. I had put my cigarettes into my pocket, the wrong pocket, because there was a hole in the pocket that went through my jacket. And the pack of smokes fell upside down. Yeah. So I come into the school, and the first door to the right was the office, and there's a big counter there. I was just barely tall enough to look over the top of it, and Sister Eusebia was sitting at her desk, and I stopped in to say good morning. And while we were talking, I hear this, and I look down, and the cigarettes are filing out of my pocket onto the floor. And I said, "Oh, my shoe's untied." So I bent down and I scooped up those cigarettes. I put them in my other pocket. So and I know I had to be 10 sheets of red. Yeah. And I said, I'm head for class now. I went straight to the restroom. I flushed those cigarettes, and I never touched them again. I was done. That was it. Over with. So that's how much power that one teacher had in my life.
That's cool. That's cool. But it's funny that you did that. I had to take that kind of an incident where you just catch yourself, you check yourself, and
yeah.
So I want to go back to Lisa Lanza. She made these really interesting comments. She says, "For the sub boys, the kids, for the sub buys the kid." Wait, let me go back one more.
If you check the next one down, it makes more sense. So if
okay, she said, "My favorite sub invited the kids to her house and bought them beers. That's how she got fired." And she goes, "Now she pumps gas at Costco." And she probably should, because she shouldn't be drinking beers. And this is what ticks me off. When I went to school, and you could probably back me up on Joseph on this. Marty, you too, when we went back to school in the day, all the teachers were like these old spinsters, and the guys were really old, and nobody wanted to sleep with a teacher. That was the last thing on your mind. And now it's like some of these teachers, I mean, when I went to my kids' elementary, mid school, is like, you're too young and hot to be a teacher. I'm sorry. There should be laws against this. You know what I mean? It's like, maybe I would have got to school for this. But then you see where these women now are molesting young men in the schools. And I just read another story just recently about a teacher doing that. And you're like, why do they put young, attractive women, in their 20s with young, attractive males in their teens? You know what I mean? It just seems... Yeah. Strange.
Especially when they start hitting high school and you're hitting that 17, 18 years old. They're playing football. They're pumping iron. They're getting developed. Now you got this hot teacher there. Not a good thing. But I had Father Kuhrt, Padre K, mid 30s, loved the gym. This guy was just jacked. He loved lifting and he loved Oktoberfest. And he was also the varsity coach of the soccer team. Every year he would take a group of students to Israel. But at the end of the soccer season, he would allow the team a wrestling match out on the field. If the team could pin him to the ground, he would buy 2 kegs. I believe it was 2 kegs. I could be wrong. But he would buy the beer. We'll just go with that. He'll buy the beer, but you had to pin him to the ground. As far as I know, there wasn't a team that could do that.
Right.
No varsity soccer team ever pinned that man to the ground. But what I do know is if you went to Israel with him, he bought all the beers.
Actually, in Israel, it's legal. In most European countries as well. So, I'm one of those beer. If you're worried about beer, a 14-year-old can get cigarettes, drugs, fentanyl, whatever they want, just by walking down the street now. And
right.
Well, heck, you can go to school and get them. The nurse will give them, I need something, I can't pay attention. Oh, well, here's some Adderall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it's nuts.
Well, now the nurse here in Oregon can actually diagnose you as a female or a male if you're the opposite sex, and no parental guidance on having. They can actually force them through a sex change. Can be any kind of. Could be a therapist. Could be a nurse. Could be a dentist. Can tell you that you should be a boy or a girl, and no parental consent. HB 2002.
Yeah. And this is what Lisa Lanza is saying. She's saying part of the reason they had teachers get master's degrees so they were older is if you're 22 teaching 18-year-olds, no bueno. And that was so when I graduated school, I had a friend of mine. She was a very attractive young lady. She went to college at 4 years, 22. She was teaching in the high school that we graduated from. And we all used to say, wow, we wish we would have had a teacher like that. I might have gone to class. And so, but the reason that you would go to class, or probably the reason why you don't want someone that young in the class. I don't know. It just seems like we're just sexualizing them on so many levels. I think this country has become hyper sexualized because of what our kids are exposed to, what we're exposed to, that we may not even realize how bad it is.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be to get your sexualization, you had to go steal somebody's Playboy. Now you can get 24/7 streaming of every type of porno on your phone, on your screen, on your TV. Child blocking, screw that. The kids are probably smarter than you are about getting on the internet. So it's like, yeah, over sexualized. And it's just, not only that, but I mean, it's like the schools aren't doing the same sort of screening that they used to do. You only have to look at Southwest Oregon Community College to get that one figured out. And it's like, so they're putting people in positions that they know are known pervs and then wondering why they're having these issues. And I'm like, well, it's pretty simple to me. You should do some screening. I mean, if you've got teachers that are taking kids home to have beers with them, you might want to look into that. So,
DEI,
Right.
it sucks.
Yep.
So
DEI.
Oregon schools, as long as you're vaccinated, we're gonna hire you, and all you need is a high school diploma to be a sub. Because we dropped the requirements because everybody was gone after we tried to give everyone the bioweapon. So
long as you don't bring up God or Christianity or conservative stuff, you're fine.
Right.
You bring up LGBTQ, NOPQRST, but oh my God, if you say oh my God, well, there's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that? So, Joe, boy, where was I going with this?
Well, I was going to share something, but I think it might be a copyright violation. But I'm going to share it for a second anyway.
Okay,
just a sec. See if I can get this to work.
Can you share it? Can you do it?
Oh, where's the screen sharing thingy? It's forget it. I thought I could share this thing, but
can you put it on?
Screen share screen, and select this one and allow. And let's see if it works.
Oh, you got it.
Oh.
I can't hear it though.
Oh, bummer.
I own this movie. I'm gonna have to watch it now.
Yeah, my first grade teacher did that. So
yeah, I'm sad. I'm sad that you couldn't hear it because it was like, so we wanted to help you out and you refused our help. So I guess you're up shit creek. And then it's like whack, 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 whack. Down, ow, God damn it, whack, whack, whack. And pretty soon they're like falling down the stairs while she's beating them with a ruler. So.
Right.
Is Rob? Did you take Rob out?
I don't think
No,
so.
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you, but I
can't see you anymore.
It says orientation settings are disabled while live. Marty, what did you do to me?
I have no idea.
I knew
Okay.
you.
So let me see if I don't know what the heck to do. So Marty, you're going to have to take. You're going to co-pilot to pilot to co-pilot. You're going to have to take the wheel. I'm going to dive out a second, and I'll be right back.
Yeah. Is there a video setting thing? No, I guess not. I have no idea.
Well, while you're figuring that out,
screen working again. Back to Joseph and Samantha. Hi, welcome to the Marty Show.
Yeah, right. While you're figuring out the screen thing, I would like to share a press release that Multnomah County put out dealing with ICE and what's going on at downtown Portland. So, do you mind if I share that?
Please go ahead.
All right. So. We titled it Portland's Not Wilting When Seen Through Rose-Colored Glasses. This was put out on Friday, October 3rd, 2025 by myself and the Multnomah County as the Multnomah County Republican Party chair. For too long, crime has taken over our streets in Portland, making a simple walk unsafe for citizens. Portland citizens get to experience and watch regularly the destruction of the downtown core area because of rioting, destruction of public and private vehicles, vandalizing, looting of public and private buildings. This causes businesses to close and leave and stops new businesses from relocating here. Meanwhile, both local and state officials have been heard and seen supporting, encouraging these events. News reporters show them calling for more protesters, otherwise known as rioters. These riots cost taxpayers and businesses millions while hiking up insurance rates and dramatically devaluating property. Example, the U.S. Bank Tower recently sold for 1/10 of its original value. Also, offices and department stores are vacant. Case in point, Nordstrom's is closing their anchor store in the downtown area. In conclusion, since our state and local government refuse to protect all citizens, then someone must step up to provide that tax-supported protection. President Trump, thank you for providing that much-needed protection for Portland citizens.
And there you go.
There you go.
I mean, that is the. I mean, the whole thing is they've been getting away with this. The legislatures in Portland. I mean, the people in Portland that are running the show and the people at the state level that are running the show are doing this on purpose. They're allowing. These are paid protesters. These are not just a bunch of angry people. They show up. They get snap cards. They get places to stay. They get all this stuff paid for. They get bussed around to do these protests. So don't tell me, I mean, it's like, like you said, the bank building sold for 1/10 of what it used to be. You don't have to go very far to see every business boarded up. I mean, I saw the same thing happen to San Francisco. I sold everything I had in the San Francisco Bay Area back in 2020 because there was nothing they could do to fix it because of the same progressive politics where it's like, oh, we can't stop the criminals. We're not going to stop people from pooping on the streets. We're not going to, we're going to allow people to take drugs on the streets wherever. And then feign like everything is fine. This dumpster's on fire, but everything's fine. And they keep saying that, and they keep gaslighting because the media allows them to do it. Not only allows them, but participates in the gaslighting. And it's like, and it's like, so Trump basically said, nobody could go around DC. So he brought in the National Guard. And now what do you know? The police are getting the support they need, and crime is down, and people can feel like they can walk around. Same thing's going to happen in Portland. Same thing's going to happen in Chicago. Same thing's going to happen it happened in Los Angeles. And it's like, and you see the mayors and the governors saying, Trump doesn't need to do this. And it's like, well, if you did your job, he wouldn't need to do this, but you didn't do your job. So now he has to do this. So, especially when they attack ICE facilities. Now there's your entree to allow federal troops in. There's your entree to let the National Guard in because they have to protect their people, the federal troops. They have to protect the federal lawmakers, and if they happen to arrest a whole bunch of jerks in the same, for attacking lawmakers, well, more's the better on that one.
Well,
so what I do.
Hey, and his picture's back too.
You're back.
Hey, welcome back.
So we just spent the last 5 minutes making fun of you. I hope you weren't actually listening while we were.
I'm on my phone. I had to restart my computer. It won't let me back into the program on my computer. So, Marty, you're fired. And I lost over 150 viewers.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, wow. I don't know where they went. It's now I got 13 viewers. So I don't know what the heck happened. So I'm trying to get back in here. But it was like as soon as you played that video and that message came out, you cannot operate your functions while being on live. And it was like, well, I'm always on live. So,
well, normally it'll do something like it'll say, oh, all mics will be muted while this video plays. And when you guys said, oh, I can't hear it, I stopped playing it. So maybe for some reason it dumped your video too. I don't know. Because I didn't. All I did was I did share screen and then shared my second screen with the Blues Brothers thing playing. So at no point did I click on anything that said, and let's get rid of Rob while he's here. Welcome to the Marty Show.
Did it stop the live feed?
I don't think so. The live feed is still going. I can't check it because I'm on my phone.
Yeah. We're up to 128 on one of the feeds here, so let me double check.
Yeah, I just got it back up to 130.
Okay,
Right.
well, good.
Oh,
So,
good.
So Marty, I was gonna. You were talking about what the military does. Actually, the military takes an oath to the Constitution, and
Right.
yeah, and so Article 4, Section 4 of our Constitution actually says that our state has to basically control an invasion or insurrection, and our state's not doing that, right? And then Article 6 talks about the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, right? So when it comes to sanctuary laws, or when it comes to like an insurrection or an invasion, that the Constitution is supreme over any immigration laws. So I don't know if you guys have read Title 10, Section 252 through 255 yet.
Yeah, I was just going to get to it, but then
I
had to make dinner. So sorry, I think I missed it. So you're going to have to give us a quick recap.
So basically, it's the Insurrection Act. So 251, Section 251 talks about the governor can actually request for the military to come in and take care of their insurrection or invasion. We're not going there, right? Because they're not requesting, right?
Right.
But
right.
252 actually allows the president to be the authority to send if the governor and the government in Oregon or any state is not taking care of their business. 252 allows the president to say, no, not going to work. And they go in. And they're the ones that take care of everything.
What? Go ahead, Sam. Finish up.
No. I'm done.
Okay. So what really upsets me is that it's not the government. It's the citizens, the liberal citizens who, well, Portland's not on fire. No, you're right. It's not physically on fire. We have areas that are on fire in Portland, and we have areas that have serious unrest. And we've been seeing this for, 6 continuous years now? Since about 2019?
Well, our tyrannical government do not want the military to come in and correct them, because, to be honest, they're the treasonous ones. They are tyrants, and because of the fact that they are getting in the way, handcuffs. Sorry.
So my point is that the citizens aren't up in arms about their city being burnt. They're blaming it's Trump's fault that's getting burnt because he's bringing in the ICE agents, or he's bringing in the military.
It's because the tyrannical government is telling them that.
Exactly.
Look at Biden. Biden's like, oh, a pumpkin. Oh no, Biden actually advertised and was like next to a pumpkin patch, and he's like, Trump says that we should be fearful of Portland. Oh no, and he's like, shocked at a pumpkin patch, and it's like, what are you doing? But people believe it.
Yeah, he's sitting in a pumpkin patch in his backyard in the outskirts of Portland in midday, and I'm like, yeah, hey, tough guy, why don't you try going down to the ICE detention facility at like midnight without any guards, without any handlers, without any bodyguards, and let's just see how long you last there, tough boy. He's never in Oregon anyway. He's in New York. He and his wife and his children harassed the person that worked for him so much he committed suicide.
Yeah.
This is the guy that represents us.
That's a lot.
And you're not even talking about that, Marty. That was something I wanted to put up there too as well. But now I can't.
Your computer completely stopped I mean, is it the computer not working at all, or what's the deal?
No, the computer's working. It won't sign in my camera or my mic while I'm doing a live feed. It says.
Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah, because
I've never experienced this. This is all new to me, man.
Are you on Firefox?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Because
I tried Firefox, and it doesn't recognize the microphone or the camera either.
Which is weird because what I can do in Firefox is in the URL bar, you can click on the little thing that looks like a camera, and it'll say, use the camera, use the microphone, and allow it that way. So it's kind of
I didn't know that. I don't use Firefox. I have no idea.
Any browser, they're supposed to be like, normally when you connect, it'll say, is it okay to use the microphone? Is it okay to use the camera? So it must have forgot you gave it permissions to do that. So.
Well, I'm trying once again.
Yeah.
So the day I wrote this press release, I watched Tina on the news talking about how and showing beautiful pictures of Portland and how everything looks so great.
Yeah.
But they didn't go downtown where the problem was. They were every place else. And so, yeah, you're right. Not all of Portland is on fire. I'll support that statement. But there's enough of it that has problems that needs someone to take care of it. And if the local and state government officials aren't going to do the job, then we need President Trump to step in and help us, because I won't go downtown.
Yeah.
Not to say that I'm a small guy and I'm afraid, but I like my life. And like I said, I have 9 grandchildren. I want to spend time with them.
Well, it's a no-win situation for you, because if you go downtown and you try to stop something that's going on, you're going to be the one that's arrested. You're going to be the one that's allowed to be beaten up. I mean, it's not, the whole problem is Tina and the power brokers who put Tina into office and tell her what to do. She tells, the teachers what to do through the teachers union, and she tells the police and the mayor of Portland what to do, and the state police what to do, and the police, the mayor of Portland tells the Portland police what to do. And there's a lot of police that don't like what's going on, but there's a lot of police that are just going along because they want to keep their jobs. And it's like, they're not following their oath to, not cause harm or whatever the police oath is. Right. But the whole point is that all these people are colluding in this essentially soft coup that's been going on for the last 6 to 8 years, where they've been, undermining the whole infrastructure of the judicial system, of the governors, of the DAs, you have all these judges and all these DAs that give a slap on a wrist to a murderer. And then, some reporter gets attacked. They arrest the reporter and not the person that attacked them.
Exactly.
And it's like, that's the kind of soft coup derision stuff that's been going on for a while. So
and that's why these people are going to be arrested. And the reason why Trump is he is a little bit exaggerating. But to be honest, he can do the Insurrection Act just for instance, Measure 110, how drugs were rampant here in Oregon. That was completely unconstitutional for the citizens of Oregon, for them to do that, to push that through. And what it is if you read Title 10, Section 252 through 255, it's literally like, if our government is impeding our rights, basically, right? So they're impeding everything that we know that is right and constitutional, literally everything. Like the Secretary of State, look at what Tobias Reed is saying. That our federal government is saying, hey, we need to see your election data. We need to see how much of it is actually true and who got elected into office. Are they actually elected or selected? And Tobias Reed says this, and it's like, and he's like, we have the best elections in the nation, the most free and fair elections in the nation. That's us, it's just like, I actually reported him to the Secretary of State's office for mis and disinformation on elections.
Yeah.
Get charged up to $10,000 for that.
They
have not poo-pooed my case yet. It's still there.
Well, yeah, but they won't do anything about that, because when they do the misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation, they say it's the truth. And, and I say, well, I have plenty of data that proves all of these statements are false.
And I said
like,
that.
well, yeah. And I went to the Secretary of State and reported on some stuff, and they're like, well, we don't see that you have a case. And I'm like, yeah, thanks a lot.
Well, I'm hoping that they actually get Tobias on that, because I sent Dr. Frank's, the Dr. Frank's little YouTube video. I sent that, and I sent his what he said in the media, and he just is lie. And I said, and I quoted him saying all this stuff, and I said that is absolutely misinformation, disinformation, malinformation, absolutely. And I said he needs to be charged and he needs to be investigated. Usually they reject my cases after about 2-3 weeks, every single one of them that I report, but they have not dismissed this one yet.
Well, there you go. I mean, it took me about a year. How long was it? It was about a year, maybe longer than that, when I reported David Brock Smith and his campaign violations and not reporting all the free airtime he got. And I just assumed they were just, they're just going to say, yeah, we don't see that he did anything wrong, and leave it at that. And then they finally got back to me and said, yeah, you're absolutely correct. He was in violation and we did fine him. And I found out, they're going to fine him like a nickel. But the whole point was, they actually admitted he did something wrong. So
see, you're my motivator. I was reporting, and they would be dismissed. And then I would report it to the FBI and they would be dismissed. And then when that came up with the David Brock Smith thing, I was like, no way. They actually investigated something. They actually, what? So then I started reporting again, and nothing's come of it.
But you got to realize it was the liberals going against a conservative, supposed conservative, and so that fit their narrative. So they give him a little slap on the hand, nothing major, but let's slap him a little bit, and we'll so we show that we're doing something.
Yeah, I forgot.
A Democrat, you won't see any of that.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of forgot that whole thing because I've been calling him a Democrat for the last 2-3 years anyway. Yeah, he's got an R next to his name, but he supported Democrat candidates in the last election. He actually got on. We had people that were Republicans running for office, and he and the Coos County Republicans said, "Oh, we're supporting these people." I'm like, "They're the Democrats, you dingbats. Why are you endorsing Democrats?" So, yeah, I forgot the whole thing that he had an R next to his name. So therefore, yes, they will find something wrong. And yes, they will fine him a nickel. So they've done something. Look at that.
Yeah.
He did something.
Yeah,
to me, that's criminal what he did.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
There's such a laundry list of things he did.
By the way, I have my trusty little Constitution. I would say it's against Article 2, Section 7 and 8 of the Constitution. It's bribery. It's all sorts of things. So yeah, I think it is very criminal and unconstitutional. And I really, to be honest, this is my major hope when. Because of the Insurrection Act, and I think because Oregon is just so terrible, when we learn about our elections, and I think that they're really going to investigate our elections pretty hardcore. We're being.
Oh, I hope so.
Marty, we're being sued not only by Judicial Watch, but we're being sued by the federal government, the Civil Rights Division, for federal laws that we have been violating with our federal elections. 4, not just 1, 4.
Yeah.
And this is
and that's the whole thing. I mean, when the Judicial Watch suit, basically the judge says, okay, we're not going to drop this case. We're going to take it to, we're going to allow this case to continue. when Judicial Watch, sued the Secretary of State and said, we want you to clean up their voter rolls. Judicial Watch doesn't do this because they're super patriots. They do this because they can make a lot of money. They won't file a lawsuit unless they know they can win it. And they know the voter rolls in Oregon are completely and utterly corrupt, dirty, full of garbage. They shift voters in and out after every election cycle because they know they can implant a couple thousand people at the last minute to, cast ballots mysteriously. But the whole point is that Judicial Watch did this lawsuit, and Hartmeet Dillon goes, yeah, Judicial Watch normally settles out of court. The state will go, okay, we'll clean up our voter rolls, and here's $10 million go away. And Hartmeet Dillon said, we're watching this suit, and if you do settle, we're coming after you. And not only that, but all the civil rights attorneys for the DOJ will be after you as well. So that's where I take a little solace in that, yes, we are now getting some attention on what's going on here in Oregon.
And they turned back.
Hold on, guys. You guys are treading over a lot of stuff here.
Sorry.
I'm seeing a whole bunch I'm on my phone and I'm standing outside because I've just pretty much given up on doing my computer. And so I can't push any of the buttons. Are there any good comments coming up?
Oh, good point. Yeah, I can follow the comments.
It might help.
See. Yeah, White's in his pumpkin patch. Yeah, Sam. So, okay, here's one. It says, Sam, when people say Trump is installing martial law, that's BS, right? Because it's not martial law.
No. It's the Insurrection Act. It's slightly different. I mean, martial. I guess it would be pretty similar, but I don't think it would be considered martial law. It's the Insurrection Act. It's Title 10. It's actually military. So Title 10 is always military. And so it's Title 10, Section 251 through 255. But it wouldn't be 251 in our case, because that would be the governor actually contacting the president, wanting the military to come into their state. And that's not our case. Our case would start at 252. And what's interesting is that when you read this, think about January 6th and what Trump said. He said, we're peacefully protesting. Please go home and disperse, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So in the Insurrection Act, that's what has to happen is when he brings in the military, it's like, go home, disperse, everybody done, So.
Well, and
that's a lot of conspiracy theory there. Okay. I'm sorry. I have to push back on some of this crap. I've been hearing a lot of this stuff. They're going to bring in the military. I just don't see that happening, guys. I see Oregon is still a sovereign state. And no matter how fucked up it is, I just don't see that happening.
Well, 252 says that if your government, which is everybody that's in our government, has basically been not suppressing the crime. They've been involved in the crime. And when your state does that, our military has to protect our Constitution. So Article 4, and I think you were out when I was talking about this. Article 4, Section 4 says that every state is a republican form of government, right? But in the case of an insurrection or an invasion, they need to take care of all of that. An invasion would mean illegal immigration. An insurrection would mean terrorist attacks that we're experiencing, right? So our state is supposed to take care of that. It moves to Title 10, which is military, Section 252, where our governor wouldn't request it.
Yeah, hold on. You've got posse comitatus that puts a stop to everything you just said, and I don't care what you're reading. But I think we need to go on to something a little more important, because I think all this stuff is just really, I don't think people are interested in it. I think you say all this stuff about the military coming in and taking over the state. It sounds good. Trump can't even put the National Guard on the streets of Portland. I don't see what you're saying even in the realm of reality of happening.
Yeah, well, the only reason Trump can't put the National Guard on the streets of Portland is because they filed these judges who have no jurisdiction whatsoever over the executive branch are saying you can't do this. Well, now, yes, they can. And the thing is the judges are out of line. So the whole point is they're trying to point out and get these judges to tip their hands and show that they are corrupt and show that they are not following the Constitution and the rule of law. And the whole idea is they keep pushing these creeps out into the out of the shadows and into the spotlight so that they can start picking them off and putting in people that will follow the rule of law and will follow the Constitution. But yeah, bringing in the Marines to Portland, I don't see it happening. But National Guard, yes, definitely needs to be done because
That probably will happen.
Yeah,
Eventually, the National Guard will happen.
Yeah,
Well, let's
and
not
that's the
forget,
whole point.
there's not a person on this chat tonight and listening that doesn't pay taxes, so we can't have certain services. We all pay our taxes. We all are asking for protection on our streets.
Yep.
And our local government and our state officials are denying us that protection.
Absolutely.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
And this is where Trump needs to step in, and the Supreme Court needs to say, yes, he can do this, because there's enough people here in Oregon that aren't liking what's happening. So we feel threatened in our daily living. And if that's the case, and our local government and our state officials are denying us our tax-funded protections, we need some help.
Well,
we definitely need some help. But I think the better way to do this is the way we're attacking this from the bottom up, Trump from the top down, and we need to go through the illegal election system. If we can get Trump not to send one damn member of the army or the military here to help us legally straighten out our voter roll, get rid of end vote by mail, go to precinct voting, I can guarantee you within a couple of years, this shit would go away.
Oh yeah.
No argument there. Yeah, because the whole point of end vote by mail, and I say this all the time when we're gathering signatures, I'm like going, don't get me wrong. The irony is not lost on me that I'm using a corrupt voting system to hopefully get rid of a corrupt voting system. But the whole point is everybody that signs is invigorated by the fact that we are doing something. And everybody that signs the recall Kotek knows we're trying to do something. Now, whether it helps or not sure. But even if we did recall her, who's second in command? Tobias Reed? This is an upgrade? So the whole point is we're making our voices heard. And everybody is now feeling like we have a say in things. That's why we sign these petitions. That's why we gather signatures. That's why we're trying to fix the Coos County Republican Party. We're trying to fix this from our end. We can't fix things at the federal level, but we can certainly fight and claw to fix things at the Coos County level, the Douglas County level, the Multnomah County level, and eventually maybe affect the state level. And we're getting air coverage from above. So with the DOJ saying we're going to go after the SOS and the corrupt voter rolls, and the DOJ saying we're going after these civil rights violations, and they're basically saying we're going after these corrupt judges that are saying, the executive branch can't do what they're doing when they most certainly can, and the problem is it's been in place for so long, with the mainstream media, with the corrupt judges, with the corrupt DAs, with the corrupt governors. It's just gonna take a long time to clean this swamp, and it's sometimes it's frustrating. And I'm like, yeah, we're making strides, but oh my God, we're going so slow. I mean, I want this fixed now. I'm impatient. I'm a cranky old man. I want this crap fixed now. And damn it, you kids, get off my lawn.
It's like it's almost as if we are slaves trying to get loose of our masters, right? So it's almost impossible. But I think with us working together with the top on our side, I think that we can actually accomplish something. It's we the people. It has to be we the people.
So let me ask you this, Joseph.
Sure.
Are you collecting signatures up Multnomah County for any of the petitions right now?
I have a team out there that goes to farmers market every week with multiple petitions and getting signatures. So yes, we are doing our part.
So what has been the pushback, or has there been any pushback, and are there people really interested in it?
So we've been pretty fortunate so far out at the farmers market in Gresham. Without it, we're not here in Multnomah. I don't think that we would get any turnout or signatures. We've been hitting Gresham. We're getting signatures every weekend. So it's been pretty much in our favor. We haven't had a lot of obstructions. They did have some Antifa people show up when we first started heading out there, but they seem to have backed off. Every once in a while, we'll get a notice they might show up again. But on the most part, they're leaving us alone, and we're getting them, because most of these petitions are going to cost them too. So they're smart if they join in and let's get this stuff off. So yeah,
especially that tax petition that's coming down the pike. They really need to help us on this.
Yeah. Yes. Agreed. So this is where it's a nonpartisan tax law that's going to affect everybody in Multnomah County. Everyone. Right. So we should all work together, because it's not only taking food off the table for me, but it's taking food off the table for my liberal neighbors and all the independent voters or the non-affiliates. We all need to come together on this one and knock it down. And I think I heard something that Kotex is trying to back off a little bit on this, so that way she can try to get the steam to quiet down, put the fire out, and that way people aren't paying attention, and then she's going to come back and hit us hard with it. I don't know how true that is, but it was just something I recently saw.
Yeah, basically I saw the one person I saw recently said, she was smart or her handlers were smart. I don't know about her being smart at all, but let's say her handlers know what's going on. The fact that she is stalling the signatures so it'll cut into the time that people can go out and gather signatures and shorten that clock. It's like basically saying, this is all, you don't believe in the citizens or the voters or what the voters think, because if you did, you'd sign it immediately so that we could, try to get it put on a ballot. But the fact that you're going to stall it so that you're stalling it so that you can make sure this never makes the ballot means that you just want to be a tyrannical dictator. So what she should do is say, after further consideration, maybe we should put this on the ballot and let the people decide. And if she did that, then it would buy her a little breathing room, because the reason they jammed this $4.6 billion tax down our throats is because all their money laundering operations are being cut off at the kneecaps. USAID is gone. A lot of the NGOs that were pumping big money into this stuff are gone. Antifa has been declared a terrorist organization, and through Act Blue, they launder so much money to so many politicians and so many causes, and all that's being cut off. So all of a sudden, their big cash flow is being cut off. So now they got to go and come up with some phony baloney tax and get billions of dollars in the door, and they're being shown for what they are, and that's part of the problem. I mean, it's like, and I don't think they have thought this out far enough that they're so far behind the curve on what's going on that there's no way they can win. And now they're just basically going, well, if I can't win, then I'm going to burn the place to the ground and rule over the ashes, because that's kind of a Sun Tzu thing, but that's kind of what seems like it's going on now.
Well, they're
The economy-
panicking.
they're basically trying to burn the place down. If they can't have it their way, they're not only taking their ball and going home, but they're burning the joint down on the way out. So
Even the Republicans are panicking. It's not just the Democrats. Look what happened at the platform convention, Joseph.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, they are like Mannix shoved
No.
that platform literally down our throats, and they're all panicking. The Republicans, the Democrats are all involved in all of this corruption, and they're panicking.
Yeah, but think about this. We did get a new Republican handshake out of the whole convention. Now I go around, and that's how I.
I mean, it's not illegal, right? Because we can't get arrested for it.
Yeah, assault is not a crime in Oregon anymore.
Exactly.
You know that, right? Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure. I think this was a DBS thing. You know how DBS uses his senator status? I think the reason why it took so long for the police to get there, because you and I were waiting for the police. We know how long it took them. I think that it took that long because DBS gave the police a call and was like, "Don't arrest my little Antifa buddies."
I don't believe that for a second. And you know why I don't believe that? Because the state police hate Republicans. The police hate Republicans just as much as Antifa. And I don't like what Jeremy did, because Jeremy's the one who came up to you and did this. But me and him have a lot of friends who were, we have run around some of the same circles. And so Jeremy was a stand-up guy when it came to attacking Antifa and when it came to fighting the BLM and stuff. I mean, you guy like that, you want on your side when you have a brawl. Maybe not going to a church social. You may not want to take Jeremy to a church social. But if you're going to a brawl, I want that dude with me. You know what I'm saying?
Right on. Yeah, that was I'm still just amazed at that whole situation. And I'm more amazed at the sheriff's department because they first off, they told us assault wasn't a crime in Oregon anymore. I'm like, excuse me, aggravated assault's not a crime? They said no, it would be more a strangulation. Isn't that correct? Is what they told us, strangulation. And for strangulation to happen, I have to have marks on my neck. I needed to lose oxygen or loss of unconsciousness. Just pass out in the middle of there. And since none of those happened, they couldn't charge that crime. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yes, you know that, right? They're saying that the husband, which is Jeremy, was defending the wife, and she had markings on her. Well, so you're saying that's bad, but strangling is not, or I'm sorry, assault and battery through the throat is not. It didn't make any sense to me, and that's why I thought this was a DBS thing prior, because it just didn't make any sense. Why would police say one thing is okay but not this? And whose side are they on? You know what I mean? And if nobody likes the Republicans, why wouldn't they arrest a Republican, right? So exactly. I don't know.
They didn't want to arrest anyone because they don't arrest anyone. They don't want to do their job, and I don't see the conspiracy there. Because honest with you, David Brock-Smith's an idiot. Okay, I know he thinks he's a genius and plays 3D chess underwater, but he's an idiot, and I don't think he's smart enough to do that. And Jeremy, like I said, when I've been around him, he probably doesn't even remember me in the different events I've been to, but I've looked through his timeline And like I said, we've shared a lot of different, we've been at the same places and events together. I just didn't know him. I just knew the people around him and stuff. And so I don't think Jeremy was bright enough to, or quick enough. I shouldn't say bright enough. I don't think he's too. I think he wasn't quick enough to pull something like that. And I don't think Brock Smith is either. I just don't see that. I think that the police are just lousy at enforcing the law. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's exactly it. They did not want to enforce the law. They said they viewed the videos. They could see arguments on both sides being valid. Well, hold it. It's obvious on my side, the guy grabbed my throat and I did nothing. Right. I was being accused of getting up in his wife's face, but at any given point, I don't think I was ever any place closer than 4 feet to her. So that's definitely not in her face. And when he attacked me, I was at least 6 feet away from her. So where is it that in this situation, he wasn't arrested? He came to me. He came off my left side. Right. I just remember seeing something to my left, and the next thing you know, there was a nose on my nose. And then the threat of being beat into the ground.
Yeah.
And as I was telling him to go for it, he grabbed my throat. And then he held on to it for a moment. And as people started to come in to pull him off of me, he tried to push me. That didn't work. And then the video that I have shows that the camera comes around. I don't remember who that camera person was. And the camera comes around and you can see that there's at least 6 feet between me and his wife. And I'm angry now at this point. I'm like, get him away from me.
Yep.
He just put his hands on my throat, get him away. And then I started calling for him to be arrested. And he beelined it out of the room. And next thing you know, the story is I'm the aggressor. And I was up on his wife and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's not my style. I would never do that. I did call his wife a liar. I will say that. I said that several times, and I was pretty strong in voice when I said it. But
that's if you didn't touch her, there is no reason for anyone to put their hands on you. And here's where Jeremy, I think, and I wasn't there. I want to say right now, I wasn't there. I didn't see what happens. I'm not on one side or the other. I think that if what happened is you're saying he's in the wrong, you're in the right, if that's what happened. I don't know. I wasn't there. But Chris Castleman was there. He told the same story that Michaela told before they talked to each other. I had talked to both of them. And so they told the same story. And the one thing that everyone forgets to mention is that he pushed Chris, and he had to apologize to Chris for it. He did apologize to Chris for it. He didn't apologize to you, but he apologized to Chris for pushing him. Okay, so let's say that the choke didn't happen. You still manhandled somebody who in a diplomatic situation where we're all supposed to be grown-ups, we're all supposed to be adults, we're supposed to feel free enough in that situation where we can express controversial, divisive issues without having to worry about someone shoving their fist in my face or grabbing my neck. And that right there, that was violated as soon as someone got pushed, and Chris Castleman got pushed, and everyone that I know admits to that.
Yeah, and I've put Michaela's comment up on the screen that said Joseph had his neck grabbed by a man who aggressively moved towards him. I witnessed it. And I believe Sam said Samantha, you were videotaping this, correct? Or
I was the one that videoed it. Yeah. And the reason why I got out my phone and started filming is because I recognized the 3 that were there, Joseph, his wife, and another gal, the night prior threatening to fight me. And
you mean Jeremy?
Jeremy and Jamie. Jeremy, Jamie,
Joseph.
and another gal. Or I'm sorry. Did I say Joseph?
Yes, you did.
I meant Jeremy.
All right.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to mix it up. Yeah. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Jeremy, his wife, and another gal, and they had called me a liar. And they were yelling it, and I was like, "Whoa!" I mean, it was just getting loud. And here comes Jeremy barreling in, and want to take it outside. Want to go. You know. And I'm like, I just kind of made fun of him a little bit, you know. But he got even more upset, and actually, that had to be completely broken up because he was following me out. And I even felt so threatened that I had to look in my rearview mirror to see if he was following us home or back to the Verbo, you know, that we were staying at. So but that's the reason why I got out my camera, because I noticed it was the same 3 that threatened me the night prior.
Let me throw the video on. I'm sure you all seen this.
No, you're the one. She tried to accuse me of I'm standing right here in the ground. Hey, we're done. Hey, we're done. This is the guy that tried to fight me last night. He tried to fight me last night. He just strangled someone. This is the guy that Okay, those are the Antifa members that tried to fight me last night.
Put his hand on my throat. It doesn't just get the cops here, get him arrested.
Yep.
I want him. He assaulted me. That's assault.
And he tried to fight me last night.
Put his hand on my throat.
He threatened me last night. Move back.
I'm done with that stuff.
Gary, thank you. I gotta get out. I'm not in here. I gotta get out. I'm not part of it. Then please go. Thank you.
Pardon, guys. We're gonna have someone exit. You would like that? Please.
I love her. I'm just a volunteer. Get off my ass, damn it. Leave me alone. Don't give me the Republican handshake. I've already had it 3 times and I can't take it anymore. Poor people. I feel, once again, this is just the nonsense that you expect from the Democrat Party. And nobody can say that it was any more contentious then than it was in 2012. I think it was 2012, it may have been 2010, when I was one of the people who was a delegate, and Mannix at that time had 1 chair at that committee. I didn't vote for him. I never was a big Mannix fan to begin with, but there was a lot of controversial swirling around because people didn't think it was a fair vote for Mannix. And this is going back almost 15 years. So it's interesting that this happens again, but we're to a point where we have been subjected to so much violence in the street, you know, and Joseph, you got to see this all the time. You know how they are. They're in your face. They're screaming at you. You just described this. I've been up there many a times. And so we are starting to adopt that behavior. And I sometimes see it in myself and I try to stop. But I think that this is a behavior that someone like Jeremy, he had a horrible kid, you know, childhood. You know what I mean? There was a lot of bad things that happened to that man. And many of it seems to be probably part of his fault because he was convicted of a lot of things. But at a certain point, you got to give that stuff up. And if you want to move on, you've got to be a man and you've got to be able to sit down and not do things like that and adopt other people's behavior. That's part of growing up, getting wisdom, and becoming a mature person. And Joseph, what you described in your life, and I want you to testify to this. What do you think would be to not have this happen again? What can we do? How can we prevent this?
Well, I can't pretend to be in Jeremy's mind. I do know that on my side, I went to the doctor. I had x-rays. I had a CT scan. I have old man syndrome. So, moving forward, I am not going to do anything. I want this to go away. I don't want this to mar my Republican Party. I want it happened. Let's talk about it. Let's clean it up. Let's prevent this for the future. How to prevent this down the road? I don't know. How do we determine if someone's a rhino? Yeah, you know what? I don't know. But at some point, and for me, I turn the situation over to the Lord. God is guiding me in my steps. That's how I'm going to handle this. If they decide they want to come after me for whatever reason, then I will take care of the necessary steps to prevent that from happening, which I have done. I'm working on getting all the information that I need to foil any opportunity of them trying to say that I'm at fault. And as you can see in that video, I'm at least 4 feet behind the door jamb.
Right.
And so, which puts me probably 10 feet away from where his wife was standing. So again, not in her face, was never in her face. The only guilty thing that I can own up to is I said she was lying. I called her a liar and I told her to stop. So moving forward, we need to figure out how we can diffuse a situation.
Yeah.
We all can't agree 100%. It's just not going to happen. So when
I've been married 27 years, and I can tell you the secret to marriage: learn how to disagree with someone and get along with it. It's okay.
Exactly. I'm married twice in my life. First time I went 27 years together, but 26 years of marriage. The second time, my current marriage, we're 11 and a half years. And unfortunately, she recently left, so I'm by myself. Bad news, but again, I've turned it over to the Lord. He's going to deal with that. I'm going to do what I need to do to honor the marriage and to honor my wife. And whatever she decides, I will give her, and we will move on in life. Same thing in this scenario. You know what? He got upset. He put his hands on me. Keep him away from me in the future. I'm not going to go after him. I would prefer this to die down because I don't want this negative report going out against our party. We need to change the atmosphere. We're supposed to be the peaceful group. Just like when being out there, David Douglas talking, Charlie Kirk, there's a righteous anger when someone is not talking factual information that you can use, but you're going to use facts. Like I shared in that news press. Hey, we have buildings boarded up. We have companies leaving because we don't have law enforcement. We have no one protecting our citizens. So those are factual information. It's easy to see. We need to use this more often and be calm when our adversaries come into our faces.
Right.
And
that's what, and that's what I saw from back when I was talking about Mannix 15 years ago. We were angry. We were pissed off, but yet we remained calm and we followed through and carried on.
Well,
that's what we continue doing.
Yeah, I like the advice James McHenry gave. And I think this is great marital advice as well. Use tasers.
Well, we do that for sexual play. That's a whole different thing. And by the way, my wife's the one who uses it on me, and I joyfully accept it. It's okay. I need a shot. At my age, it's what gets me going.
the whole taser and spanking thing. It's just a Saturday night, so you know.
That's right. In the nun outfit. Yes. It's well, that's what always bugged me about Catholic school. Why do they put the girls in those short, sexy skirts? It's like, why do you do that? Put some length on those things.
I mean, talk about rubbing it in your
face.
Did
you go to? Because my school, the skirts had to go past the knee.
A knee, yeah. Some of them did. Yeah, that's right. Maybe it was
the whole time I was in school. They all did.
Yeah.
And if I remember them sending girls home if they went through a growth spurt and their skirt now was above their knee, they would get sent home.
You're right. I remember that. You know what I'm thinking of is maybe a couple of Halloween parties that I went to. Maybe
that sounds
using something here. Forgive me. I am 60. My mind is going, and that's what I use for everything. I don't know, officer.
Wasn't that a Zappa song, Catholic Girls?
Steve Hammerson says, laser focus on people's actions. What they say doesn't matter. And that's, that's the truth there. And that's the problem with this was a physical act that everyone saw, and nobody can say it didn't happen because something happened. We have video of something happening. And so let's not let it happen again. And Joe, I did something recently at a meeting here in Coos County. It was a Republican meeting. We're in a civil war with the people who are holding the party hostage. And at one point, I actually told Court Boyce he could go fuck himself. And I told David Brock Smith, I hope you choke on that chicken. And it was horrible. It was horrible. I said some god-awful things. And I really wish I could not have said that and taken that all back. I wish they wouldn't have heard it, but you can't go back. It's happened. Yeah. It's out there. And I really showed my ugly that day. And the reason I was doing it is because I saw a person who was in a leadership position obstructing the party's growth and what was best for the party and going against everything we've always done. And so I am going to work so hard to be my best because I've sat through a lot of very contentious meetings and I've been one of the coolest people in the room until I had to get up and speak. Marty will testify to this.
Oh, yeah.
And so I don't know. I just think that we need to find a better way to communicate. And I got to start with myself first. I'm literally telling me because I'm the person who did it, and that's what I want you to do. I want Samantha and Marty and especially Jeremy. I think Jeremy needs to have a really long look in his mirror and start realizing maybe some of this problem is me, because what I have problems with is not other people. It's my own actions and how I react to other people's actions.
So,
I mean,
in that same line, when my dad was always reactionary and yelling, screaming, cussing, swearing. And I found myself as a teenager going down that road. And one day I got into a conversation where I didn't know the answer, but my dad's always right, so I'm going to be right. And I was arguing the point on something I didn't know the answer. And I walked out of this conversation mad at two guys that I was arguing with, and I'm the one that's wrong. And boy, I'll tell you, it's taking a long time to get there. And I was sharing with you the David Douglas situation with the kids. There were a couple gentlemen that was one on each side of me, and because of their calmness, I remained calm. It took someone to help me, to remind me that I don't need to be angry.
Right.
Anger is, in my opinion, to get angry, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't have a clue at what you're fighting for. So you have to get angry so you can prove your point, because I'm going to be right. And I know enough scripture. I have enough factual information to defend myself. I don't need to be angry. Let's not worry about that.
Or you could be a Karen like Jamie and get all the attention on her, right? So
right.
How you can get your point across too.
I don't know if you can see that picture I put up, but you really look at ease there. I mean, because what you describe isn't what that picture says. That says, I'm a guy at a flag wave having a damn good time on a Saturday. It just, to me, that's what it says. But if you backed out and saw the rest of it, I bet you would not feel the same way.
Exactly. And there's probably 3 feet beyond what you can see to my right. There's a whole group of students who are arguing right there. And I, at this point, I was staying back. I was just like, I'm not going to get into it because I could feel myself getting agitated. Mm-hmm. And then, like I said, there were 2 men in a conversation, and I stepped into the conversation and I listened. And then finally, I was like, I have something I want to share. So I actually raised my hand like I was in class. And one of the students called on me. And I thought that was pretty cool. All right. So then we started sharing, we started talking. And again, like I said, we had good conversation until some agitators showed up. And they happened to be grandparents. And boy, they were proud of that too. Wow. It's like,
that's screwed up, man. That is screwed up.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Who brought those people up? Because if the grandparents are setting that bad of an example, can you imagine what their children and their children's children will be like? I mean, if you have that little respect for personal interaction, then how the heck can anybody else live in that environment?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No,
sorry.
Go ahead.
I had a best friend that was like 80 something years old, Nan Isaacson. And she was a spicy, so when women get into their old age, and this is just my theory, because I'm not there in my 80s yet, but she seemed to just say whatever she wanted to. And she looks at me because I thought I was going to have to get into fights because she just would yell stuff. And I'm like, oh, here we go. I'm going to be fighting someone now because, she goes, who's going to want to fight an old woman? So I think that's what they do. They say to themselves, who wants to fight a little old lady, but she was a very deep conservative, and she used to talk about abortion. So she would say, you want to kill babies, and she would just yell that kind of stuff out. And I'm like, oh God, I'm out of here, but she would yell that kind of stuff, and nobody would ever threaten her or go after her or anything. You don't want to be mean to an old lady, right?
Yeah, nobody beats up on Aunt B. I mean, come on.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. That's why they are that way, though, I think.
No, it could be.
It could be. Yeah, because but then, the generations before us, they were so much tougher because you had to be tough to survive in those generations. It's like any animal you find out in the wild. Even a rabbit is one tough son of a bitch just to have survived to be in the wild. You know what I mean? And so, it's dear little old ladies. My mom used to, when we had the family fights, being Irish, that's what we did at family get-togethers. She was always right in the middle, and it'd be like, Ma, move, Ma, they're swinging at each other. Come on, you got. And then the cops would be called, and then we'd have to call the other side of the family to bail them out. It was an interesting proposition. So we got this recall. Were you involved with this recall, Joe?
I was not. It was brought to us, and I believe that we have petitions for this that are going out to the farmers market to be signed.
Cool. It's bullshit. There's no way this recalls. I don't think they're going to get enough signatures. And like we were saying earlier, Marty had a great point. You're only going to replace her with a douchebag who's actually more competent. And so we got to find a Republican that we can all agree upon. And I think there's 20 Republicans running now. I don't know.
Yeah.
So what do you think of that race? What do you think's going to happen coming up in the primary when we have all these candidates coming up again and we pick the 4 worst people to be the top 4? What do you think?
So in my opinion, we have all these people running in the primaries. It's ridiculous. We're wasting tons of dollars. Those people should come together, sit down, because we're all supposed to be on the same side, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
That's the theory.
they need to say who out of this group is going to win this election and pick one person to run, so we don't have to go to November. We finish it at the primary. We elect our governor there, and then we're done. We're finished. Because if we get enough votes in the primary, we don't have to go to November. We're done. She gets that 50% of votes, or whoever gets the votes, we can be finished with this. But here's the problem. Everybody is the best person in their own mind, so no one's going to work together. It's why in 2020 I didn't run for mayor on the ballot, because there were 15 candidates. And then we come out with Wheeler and Iannarone. So I ran a race.
Huh?
Right? It was horrible. So I jump in as a write-in. And I don't know, historically, the write-in only gets 6% of the votes. Well, we got 13.8% as write-in.
Oh, I didn't know that. You yourself?
I don't know if it was just me. There was Teresa Rayford, who was on the ballot in the primaries.
Mm-hmm.
She ran as a write-in.
Yeah.
I ran as a write-in. And I don't know if there's any other candidates who ran as a write-in. I didn't see anybody else. I didn't see anybody in the booklet on that. But you got to account for Mickey Mouse and Friends getting some tickets. But there were 13.8%, which equates to about 47,000 votes. I know that Channel 8 News reported that Teresa Rayford either got 4,600 votes or 6,400. I don't recall which. So with that being said, I give her the 6,400. So that leaves 41,000, 40,500 votes. You take away 3,000 votes for Mickey Mouse and Friends, that's 37,000 votes left over. So that would be me. When I saw the Channel 8 News and they were talking about it, they had taken my picture out of my profile page and just had the backdrop up. And they were talking about the write-in candidate. So we had a good turnout. In 24, I was going to run again. And hey, lo and behold, we had 15, 17, 19 candidates. It was ridiculous. I thought, nope, I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah.
I do like to have choice. Okay. Don't get me wrong. I'd prefer a lot of choice, but once you get over a dozen, I think we're into the realm of ridiculousness. And like you said, I don't know. If I see 12 people in line, it's like going to a whorehouse and seeing 12 people in line. You don't want to get in that line.
Yeah.
Especially if you have 12 people from one party. So we had 2 or 3 people from the other party and 12 from ours. We don't stand a chance.
Yeah, talk about vote dilution. I mean, it's like you spread that over, it's like let's say you had enough to get 50%, now you spread that out over 12 candidates. That means you're going to get like 8% per or 7% per.
Yeah.
It's like, it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's
So do you guys have ranked choice voting? Oh, sorry, Marty. I'm a little confused. So do you guys have ranked choice voting?
We do now, yes.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Because I'm thinking, what about primary election. Like I thought, okay, it doesn't matter if you have some from the Democrat and some from the Republican, but if it's ranked choice, do you guys is it combined ranked choice?
I actually forgot about that. We just brought that in, and so now certain elections, and I think the mayor will be one of them because it's nonpartisan.
Yeah,
will be done on ranked choice, and they will figure out the winner in May. I believe that's how it may, or maybe it gets postponed in November. I'm not sure exactly on how that works, but either way, they're doing that to save money because they need to put more of it in their pocket. But yeah, so and if you guys have heard how it works, hopefully I can do some justice here. But say you have 6 candidates who are running. All right, you want one. So nobody gets 50%, but you have a candidate at 30, a candidate at 28, and it breaks down. The bottom candidate drops off. So all the people that voted for the bottom candidate, now they'll look at their votes and at their number 2 vote, and those get added in. So if their number 2 vote is up in the top 2 or 3 ranks, those people, their percentages will go up. And they keep doing that. Go to the bottom one. You didn't win, you're out. So then they look at who voted for that person, and they take their number 3 vote now. And they look to see who, and it keeps compounding until somebody gets up to 51% or whatever.
Okay, that sounds like 3-card Monty. Okay, that's 3-card Monty right there. And I asked several people who are for this to explain it to me, and I think you were the best one to actually explain it. I'm not even sure if I completely understand, how it works in the end as far as, eliminating the people you actually want in there, because I'm an old-fashioned guy. The majority should take it. You know what I mean? It's just, it's ridiculous. And what you're describing is
you have to vote. You have to vote for, they'll tell you, okay, you got 6 candidates running. You have to vote for 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you have to vote for first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. And I'm like going,
exactly.
I'm like going, okay, I'm not, I know who I want number 1, and I could care less about the other ones. And the whole thing is such a, like you said, it's like 3-card Monty. We had this when I lived in Oakland, California, a long time ago. We had ranked choice voting, and it would be like, it was like the 3rd place person wound up winning because of all the dilution that went on when the 1st place person didn't get enough of the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th place votes on the second go round. And I was just like going, well, why don't you just admit to the fact that you're going to keep this thing going until the candidate that the party wants wins, or the candidate that the people that are running this thing, because California has been as bad as Oregon for as long as Oregon has been bad. They just haven't been doing all mail-in all the time, but they've been doing election shenanigans as well. I mean, a friend of mine ran for an office, and he was initially a Republican, and he realized there's no way he could win if he had an R next to your name. So he went as he registered as a D, he ran, and he was doing fine until he said, oh, the BART workers should not be able to strike because there's only 3,000 BART workers and there's 300,000 people a day that ride BART. So for the better good, BART workers should not be allowed to strike, which of course every union banded together and said, this guy's not a Democrat. There's no way he's ever going to win, period. Right. So that's, the whole point was it was not run by the people who actually voted. It was run by who's deciding who's going to win the election.
Like the
so ranked choice voting just makes it easier for them to obscure how this stuff is done. Because if you actually do the algorithms to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, it's like, you can dink with those all you like until you get the one you want.
Exactly. And Marty, think about our elections. If our elections are already being our elections are already corrupt, right? So then you've got ranked choice voting and nobody really understands it. So nobody really wants to fight it, right? Because nobody really understands it. So, I mean, so then you've got the corrupt county clerk like, they're never going to question this one. So, you know,
we'll just take all the ballots out of the drop box and put them in the mailbox across the street. Yeah, nobody will figure that one out.
So while I was out on the phone, and it was beautiful out, by the way, I really enjoyed that walk. I think I should do more walks on the Rant. I mean, that was really neat. And so you can do that here out in the middle of nowhere. I don't know if you guys do that in the city, Joseph, but out here in Bandon, we actually still do this thing called walking. I don't know, because I see you guys in the spandex and doing the bikes, but do you do the walking?
When I came back to North Portland, I used to go on 2 walks a day. I'd go on one after work, and then I would go one in the evening before I went to bed. I'd go for a 2-mile walk, and then come home, take a cool shower, crawl into bed, and I'm good for the night. Now, I'll walk in the afternoon, but it gets dark. I ain't walking. I'm not doing it. So I don't feel comfortable with it. Just too much stuff going on out there. And even though in my neighborhood, I feel comfortable in my neighborhood. And I'll tell you, I've had some of my neighbors who have shared with me they've left their houses and forgot to lock their front door or left their front door open. I've left my house and ran up to the store and came back and realized I left my windows open. And so in 2020, during COVID, 2020 to 23, I had a homeless camp / Grand Theft Auto camp block and a half away from my house. I guarantee you, I was checking every window and every door before I walked out of my house. Oh yeah. And then I was checking my gates to make sure I had the padlocks on them, and there was no way I was leaving this place unlocked. Now we've gotten rid of that area. We got the homeless people out of there. My neighborhood is back to what it used to be like when I bought my house in '85, where I had gone camping. We were gone for 10 days. Come home and my front door is wide open. And I'm like, what the hell? It's the way I left it. Walked out, we got in the car, we drove away, we left the front door wide open. Nothing was missing, nothing was touched. It was kind of nice. And so I don't know that I would feel good about me doing that today. But if I left the window open, I was gone for a few hours and come back, it's like, oh, I left the window open. Okay. So my neighborhood has gotten quieter, and I'm grateful for that. And then I want to say the Lord has just protected my property and my house and me. So he gets the credit, not anybody else.
I honestly, I wouldn't feel too bad about leaving my door unlocked, even though I lock everything up all the time.
Doesn't your son live next door, though?
Well, there's the secret to my success. I know all my neighbors because, I am Opie Taylor and I'm living in RFP, Mayberry. And so I know all my neighbors and they're all armed to the teeth. So if you come into my neighborhood and you decide to mess with me, I can tell you right now, you're going to have a bunch of geriatric kamikazes coming at you. You know what I mean? They're not afraid to die because we have nothing left to live for. And so, and then I got my son living on one side and I got my mother-in-law living on the other. And she's armed to the teeth and her eyesight's going. So don't mess around, man. And so,
nothing like nearsighted geriatric kamikazes that are heavily armed to make you feel protected.
And I like feel damn protected. Don't come. So that's why the homeless, they come down my street, they walk pretty damn fast. So I really don't feel bad. But there's such a low crime rate in Bandon because we're spoiled. We're the latte sippers of the South Coast. We're the cool golf town. You know what I mean? Where everyone comes golfing at the beautiful dunes, which is a lovely place. I love the dunes. I got to eat over there the other day, and it was wonderful at the what was it, Ghost Ranch?
Ghost
and
Tree.
So yeah, Ghost Tree, good place. Love the wait staff was excellent, very good stuff.
Yeah.
But sorry, I had to throw that in because I love the dunes. And so, the point is that we're so much the opposite of Portland, because I was just in Portland and I've been to Portland a lot of times. I just don't understand how you can stand it, man. It just blows my mind. It seems tough.
So a little update. So my house is in the middle of the block.
Mm-hmm.
It faces north. And so if you drive west on my street, you hit a turnaround, because that's it. 1 block long.
Nice.
And you have to go back out, and it's 1 block. It's not even, it's about 2/3 of the block on the opposite side. And again, there's not even a turnaround. It's a rail down there. And you have to turn
so it's
around
like a cul-de-sac, right? Kind of.
Yeah, I have a cul-de-sac on my end, but there's no house. There's a house on each side of the cul-de-sac. There's nothing around the cul-de-sac because there's a warehouse back there and railroad tracks. So, and then the other way, you end up getting into some old businesses that have been around. I don't even know if they're even operational today, but there's a big guardrail at the end of the street. So you get to that point, and you have to turn around and come back out. So there's the main street that gets us in here. And then if you want to leave, you have to go back out to the main street. And so that's nice. Now then.
Yeah. Not a lot of smash and grabs in Bandon, because absolutely no street goes through for more than 2 blocks. So,
Yeah, that's true.
You can't be like racing through a neighborhood going, well, I'll just go out the other end at 100 miles an hour. It's like, 2 blocks away, it's like a dead end T intersection. It ends up at a guardrail or the back of a McKay's or something. You're like, how do I get out of here? I mean, it's like,
well, I've lived here long enough that anyone who commits a crime, I get to go say, hey, I know your mother. I'm going to call her. I'll get your ass home right now because I'm sending the cops there.
I taught your brother in football. So I'm going to call your mom.
Rob, there's been a lot of people arrested lately in your area, Rob. I've been noticing it.
Yes. Well, are you talking about the Bandon area or the Coos Bay North Bend area?
I think Coos Bay North Bend, but
we're 30 miles apart almost.
That's a whole different hole in the ground. Yeah,
we don't even associate with them. We're Bandon, damn it. We're better than all of them. I mean, we'll take Marty because he lives close enough, but we're Bandon, damn it. Yeah, we may lose football because we're a small town and don't have any choices, but we're Bandon. We're better than you guys.
And Bandon's nice enough to let me live within 7 miles. I mean, they won't let me live in town, mind you, but they let me stay in a place that's like between Bandon and like Curry County. I'm right on the county line. They're going, okay, we'll let you stay in the county, but stay as far away from Bandon as you can get.
So Marty, did you know that I forget who put out the statistic on another show that we were talking about Bandon, and they were talking about the empty houses.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so his statistics are true according to the city. That's from what I understand as well. It's a high percentage, and so we're considered the spoiled brats because a lot of the wealthy people come here and like I said, go to the dunes and sit at the beach and all that good stuff. And so one of the things that just blew my is where was I going with this? What were we just talking about?
What happened? There are all these houses in Bandon that are either like not being lived in, or they're secondary homes, or they're bed and breakfast, but there's nobody living there as the primary place to live. because a lot of homes were built on spec. When dunes came in, everybody goes, oh man, all these people want to go to this top ranked course. It's like one of the top 10 courses in the United States. And, and people are flying in from all over the place to be on this course. It's the place, all the courses are booked solid for years in advance. And it's like, okay, we're going to build a lot of upscale homes on spec. And then, all these rich folks are going to have their secondary homes here. Well, it didn't quite pan out the way they thought it was going to pan out. So there's a lot of these homes, especially on the Beach Loop area and all the stuff north on Seven Devils, north of the course, north of the course. And it's like these huge homes. But there's a lot of other homes in Bandon that people are using for luxury like rentals. So, people that don't mind dropping $300-400 for a round of golf don't have a problem dropping a bunch of money to rent a place on Beach Loop or on the beach or on a lake or whatever. And so we just don't have a lot of people can't afford to live here because all these super deluxe homes have priced a lot of people out of the market, and a lot of the rentals are way high because
that's where I was going.
Yeah.
So I gotta share, if we have empty houses in Portland, it's a 50 by 100 lot. That house comes down and you get 9 back in there.
Wow.
And there's no place for parking. They don't care about any of that stuff. But I have two lots by me where 8 and 9 houses were built. And it's like, on my street, I had one house taken down and 2 houses. No, I had 2 houses taken down on each property, 1 house on each property, and 2 houses went back up on each property. And if you have 2 cars, you don't have enough room to park.
Well, you're not supposed to have a car. The whole point of breaking up these lots and taking 1 house down and putting up 8 houses is because it's supposed to be the 15-minute city. You're not gonna have a car. You're gonna have a small place to live. You're gonna take public transit everywhere you go. And I'm like, not in my world, but okay.
Yeah, they don't like me because I have 3 cars and a motorcycle.
And the motorcycle. I gotta stop a second. Michaela is sending me a message. She's trying to send me a couple events that are going on, especially up in your neighborhood, Joseph. And email Michaela, you're gonna have to email them to me because can't figure out how to get them from my phone onto my computer. I can figure out how to get them from my computer to StreamYard, but that first part is throwing a wrench in the whole thing. So if you could email that stuff to me, that'd be great. And 2, one of the things that we've been working on is PCPs, precinct committee people, and this right here, this QR code, this will take you to the Secretary of State's website where they have a form, a digital form that you can fill out. You have to know either the name of your precinct or the number of your precinct, which you can find out on your voter registration card. And you should have a voter registration card if you're a registered voter, hence the term. And this QR code should take you to that page where you should be able to fill out that form and become a precinct committee person. And Joseph, how are you guys doing for PCPs? And are you on the lookout for PCPs?
That's one of the things that we do when we go to the farmers market. We try to get people to sign up as PCPs, get them registered, make sure they're registered, and then get them to sign up. And when I was reelected, we had 236 PCPs in Multnomah County out of, I think we have 1,200 registered.
Oh, wow.
Republican voters. Yeah, it's not good. And then out of that 236, we have lost 80. So we actually lost 100, and then we have been building back up, and we're down now just 80. Because of all the infighting that goes on inside of our party. People don't want that. They want to come and do something positive. They don't want to come and hear somebody else complain because they're not getting their way. And You know, how do you get people to be content at where they're at and just to step up and help? That's been my biggest battle, is to change that mindset. You don't need to be number one. We just need you here to when we call out for support, every once in a while say yes.
Mm-hmm.
I have a core group of people, about 30, that I can guarantee if something needs to come up, they're going to be there every time.
Yeah.
And so I have 156 PCPs, but I got 30 that show up faithfully.
That
it's
sounds
hard.
familiar. It's hard.
Yeah, well, we had at least 50 people show up for a Republican meeting that wasn't a Republican meeting. It was just a meeting of Republicans. And, and we are working on, one, growing the PCP base, but also getting more people involved. And I don't know if Rob's up to the mentioning of the new and improved situation that we're going to be having.
Well, yeah, actually, we can't mention the address because we don't have anyone in there and we don't want it to get damaged.
Good point.
But
yeah,
we are on Broadway and Newmark area. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to say, but the whole plan is we will have a Friends of Coos County Republicans meeting location where it's going to be a nice space where we're going to set up places where we can have meetings, or you can come in and have discussions, or if you want to do a podcast, we'll set up a little corner and have the Between Two Ferns podcast zone or something like that. And the whole point is that this way we can get people together while we're trying to build more PCPs, because it seems like the only way we're going to get it done is through the May election at this point. But this basically allows us to circumvent the roadblocks that we are getting and have a location where people can come together and start working on a plan for how we're going to get back to the way we want it to be. And we're not trying to keep anybody from joining. Go ahead.
Sure.
How did you find this building? Because I know that before I came in, we had a generous donor who paid for us to have an office and a small storage area, and actually we held our and in a conference room where we could hold all our meetings. Unfortunately, that gentleman passed away, and we lost that building. So then we had a PCP who had a big shop behind their house, and they opened that for us to hold our meeting. And we barely fit in there, but we were able to hold our meetings there. And then after the recall, we lost the 2021 recall. Mm-hmm. We lost that facility also. And so then, now we're trying to continually raise money so we can rent a spot. And now rent's getting kind of expensive. We had a really good deal going with the Shiloh Inn, but then they sold it, and it's underneath new management. Rent went through the roof. And so we're struggling at trying to find a good home where we can do these things. I would love to have someone say, hey, I got this huge shop that I'm not using. Come sit down. Got a wood stove out there. You got to build a fire when it gets cold. But other than that, you can use the building.
Yep. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. Essentially, what Rob and I were thinking about like months and months ago is that, we've been doing the pop-up tents twice a week, 4 hours a day, Wednesday, 4 hours a day, Thursday. And I was like going, what we ought to do is like the spirit stores, those pop-up Halloween stores that last like 2-3 months. There's got to be a lot of locations that have 0 people renting out a space that's been empty for a long time. And we go in there and we say, hey, we'd like to rent this space for X amount of months. And, and we'll be more than happy to do a short-term lease with a kick-out clause. So if you actually get somebody showing up that really wants to pay rent the way you want, rent to be paid, we'll be more than happy to get out. But you're making $0 right now. Why don't you think about making $300 a month or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And then somebody came forth and said, hey, I've got this space that's been empty for like a year. You know, you can use that. And we're like, well, hey, that's even better. So, and then the whole point is now we can, you know, we can have a permanent location for signature gathering as well. And so we don't have to put up the tents in the driving rain and the 40 degrees. It'll be like, just go to this location, you know.
Yeah. Marty, I have to, we have to acknowledge that while we were doing that, Chris and Danessa were looking for a storefront just for the Republican headquarters. They wanted to get that going as well. And so it was funny how this kind of came together. And once again, it's this, you were talking about the 30 people that you have that are always the active ones. We have a group of people that are always the active ones as well. And it's funny because we've been so active. That's why we lost kind of contact with the Republican Party and what they were doing. And then when we tried to get back, it was like, oh, no. We don't want you anymore because we like our little doily club here. And they have a nice doily club, but I'm not interested in making doilies. Yeah. And so, we're the active ones. And we just went out and got a headquarters. We've got 49 people who are running for PCPs, and it's only November. You know what I mean? This race is in March. And we've gotten 50 people, and I've got a half a dozen more who said that they would be signing up. And we're building this party as faster than anyone we've ever seen in the party in years. And they don't want us to participate because they see that growth. And, and it's funny because we're talking from two different spectrums. We are kind of the rebels on the outside trying to get in, but our party's not functioning, so we have to get in. But you're in a functioning party where you have rebels who want to complain about not being the leaders. You see maybe the kind of difference of what we're dealing with?
Yes. Yeah. It's nice when we are all working together with a common goal. And first, it just is horrible. I'm just going to go. It's horrible when everybody wants to run the show and tell everybody else how to do it. And it's I might be the chair, but to be honest with you, this core group of people that I have, they're the ones who make Multnomah County look good. They're the ones who make me look good. And again, it has nothing to do with me. These guys know what they're doing. They're going out and getting it done. Mm-hmm. And then, they look at me and just like I'm doing now, it's them. It's not me. I'm just here going, I agree with what you're doing. Let's keep up the good work. You guys are amazing. I'm just the man that agrees with what they're doing and say, yeah, you guys keep it up. And then when I can, I join in with them.
Yeah.
And so Multnomah County is there because of that group, that core group.
Good.
So
good.
Excellent.
Glad to see that.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'd like to make one statement here that now that Steve and Michaela and Samantha and Steve posted something earlier and said, hey, any luck with those addresses I sent? I'm like, you guys need to check your emails because I sent that stuff back to you a couple of days ago. And we need to have a meeting to get this data worked out because there's too much stuff for me to do all by myself. I can winnow it down and get it down to 300-400 addresses that we can go out and canvass. But when I got, thousands, I'm going to need help. So right. I'm just, it doesn't seem anybody's watching the emails. So I'm going to say it now on the show. So just wanted to interrupt real quick. Now back to the show in progress. Thank you.
And Marty, on that, I have all sorts of information of the memory care facilities and the senior citizen homes.
Did you check the addresses Steve gave me a whole bunch of addresses, And then I put them into a spreadsheet, and I showed you how many people are registered to every one of those addresses. Do any of those addresses match memory care or facilities like that? So it was in an email I sent yesterday, I think. But anyway, and if in case anybody else there wants to know what the heck we're talking about, this happens to do with the Todd Vaughn versus Dan Loomis, the county clerk of Douglas County, where all of a sudden, at the end of the election, Todd Vaughn was winning his race. For 8 days, they had a communication blackout where they wouldn't say any updates, wouldn't tell us any updates at all. And then all of a sudden, 8 days later, the opponent won, and there was an 800 vote shift, surprisingly. And then when we asked for all the election records, he basically said no. So we are now in the middle of forcing that thing to happen.
So and Marty, you got well, I'm going to give you credit. You deserve it. You've been working very hard on organizing a very advanced, sophisticated data analyzing group who's going to go in there and get the stuff that you need to prove the case for the attorney, because without the evidence, you have no case. And that's and here's you've got a lot of stress with this because it's a very important case, and you're dealing with a lot of wildcats who are doing their own damn thing. And so, I get it. It's very stressful.
I picked a bad day to stop sniffing glue.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I said I picked a bad day to stop sniffing glue.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. You did. So I got to quickly, Michaela did put something in here that I got to share. And okay, maybe I just got to put it on the screen. And
I like that one. Thanks, Michaela. No. I think Orange Man good as well. Yeah.
So let me see if I can get that up there. Okay, so there's a conspiracy theorist in front. Wait a minute. Let me see. Conspiracy theorist in front of the Tigrid post office with petitions to end Oregon's corrupt vote by mail. And if you go down, it talks about this Antifa they come out every couple of years and get dozen or so more signatures. They look to be bored. And Michaela was telling me that there's a Antifa are planning on interrupting the end VBM booths. I don't know where that says that there, but it does accuse them of being conspiracy theorists. The election is corrupt. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, well, Reddit has gone super woke. Reddit used to be like, hardcore programmers, and a lot of them conservative and a lot of them with a lot of great ideas. And over the last couple of years, Reddit's just gone completely woke. It's like we're all the blue hair fat boys who live in their mom's basement and are keyboard warriors going, Orange man bad, I tell you, Orange man bad. Those kind of folks. So anything on Reddit, it's like, some of the Reddit streams you got to watch because they will tell you when something dangerous is going on. But most of it is like being on B Sky or Blue Sky or whatever it's called. It's just an echo chamber for the liberal lunatics.
So look at Mr. Chatty Fang. Mr. Chatty Fang, I guess he's a poopy pants, Mr. Chatty Fang. He says, better idea, sign the petition with fake info. Yeah, that will throw him off. Yeah, tell him you're John Smith. That will throw him completely
off. James McHenry, I tell you.
James McHenry,
How old are we now? Like, seriously, you're gonna commit a crime, because that's pretty much a crime to, like, isn't it?
Falsifying evidence, or
falsify your information.
Yeah.
So look at this. It says, and it wastes money for these groups. Oh, isn't that nice? Thanks. I might be taking the scenic route home and traveling through Tigrid. I don't live in Washington County, so not a registered to vote there. LOL.
Yeah, well, first off, you don't have to be registered to vote in the county because it's a statewide petition. So way to be a genius.
He's a dumb. Starker. Look, it's Starker. What the hell does that mean? It's like a stalker. But he's a stalker because he's from Boston. You're a stalker? Yeah, I'm a stalker. You a stalker? Me too.
He's a stalker, and he's gonna go get some coffee in the afternoon.
Yeah, these Antifa What's the matter with these Antifa? Might be a good day for what is it? Antoine Tifa to make an appearance for a signature. Antoine Tifa. Ooh, they're so clever.
I know. It's almost as good as my Antifa.
I can hardly pronounce Antoine Tifa.
Antoine Tifa will make an appearance.
That sounds like a dirty word, Antoine.
Antoine, especially with two A's. Oh, Antoine Tifa.
They might as well have been saying trans Tifa. I mean,
wow, this is wild. It goes on for a while here, man. So whoever's doing the vote by mail, watch out. They're putting out bad points. The naysayers in their minds. Look, this was all written right here. This was all written by AI right there. That's AI bullshit right there.
Oh yeah.
He couldn't write that himself, so he went through AI to do his post. So I can say, I'm the intellectual communist. That's right. Just don't upload my computer. Don't get rid of my Grammarly account.
Yeah, there are times when I'm thinking a lot of posts on X and a lot of posts on Facebook, and especially on Reddit, it's AIs talking to AIs. It's, basically at some point, it's not going to be real people doing this stuff anymore. I mean, X just in a purge where they found I think it was 23% of the accounts were AI bots. And and they were interacting with people, and then the AI bots were interacting with AI bots, and it's like, okay.
Yeah,
that's pretty entertaining. But yeah,
well, that gives us more time to be on our phone, right?
Well, you've been on your phone for quite a while. I bet this is the longest you've been on your phone for a while. And
I just looked at my battery, 26%.
So don't feel bad if you have to bug out, or Samantha, you're looking tired there. I don't know.
Well,
are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I just had a long day. I had an interview today. So
how did that go?
Wow.
I think it went really well. So I will. In fact, they actually said that I would be a good casa, and they said, "Do you know what that is?" And I said, "No, a house." Because casa is house in Spanish, and they explained it to me. But it would be a legal child liaison. Basically, I would be going to court for children's rights, basically, and for what is best for the child itself. And I was like, I would be good at that. And they were like, yeah, and oh, cool, so
child advocate. I'm trying to remember now because my kids' mom is a CASA representative.
Okay.
And it's I'm sorry, it's not coming. It's okay. Child advocate something. So
yeah, I didn't know what it was until they mentioned it, and so they said that I would be great at it, and I was like, oh, really? So, and it's a certified, I guess.
Yes.
Cool.
Wow. Well, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that means you get to go to court for children.
Yeah. That would actually be pretty exciting for me, I think. I go to court anyways. So and I'm used to it.
I mean, if you're going to go to court, you might as well get paid to do it, as opposed to every time I go to court and it winds up costing me money.
It costs me money every time. I'm on jury duty right now. Can you believe this? I got jury duty.
Oh.
Yeah, I always forget to call at night, and I'll get up in the morning going, damn it, I forgot to call. I gotta call. And so, yeah, it's a pain in the ass, jury duty.
Did that come from the state, or did that come from the
lighting there? The lighting on your background, that's fabulous. I don't know what you're doing over there. You had a blue light at one point in time that was really cool, but I like what you're doing back there. Is that lighting effects you got going on, or is that your natural lighting?
Well, yeah, it's like my whole house is kind of just, I love lights. I always have. I'm a 90s girl, the black lights and the red lights and the, so 90s gets me. But yeah, I have like light, lights going on. You got to come and visit one of these days, and then you'll see I have light shows in the bedroom and in the kitchen and in the living room.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's
That's
cool.
funny. Maybe I should do that. Put lights on the wall. No, I'd like something neon, like a flag. That would be cool.
But you should see the front of my house is all LED lights, and they're all colored lights. I have it's football season, so normally I have my 49ers red and gold up out there. But since we're into Halloween, I've taken some pumpkin for trick-or-treaters. They're little the buckets, so I cut the bottom out of them. I cut a slice into them, and I slid them over my sconces. And I have red, blue, yellow, and green light bulbs inside these buckets. So all these Halloween buckets up there on my sconces are glowing like you can't believe right now.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
So,
I don't know why I'm so attracted to them, but it's shiny.
At one time here in Bandon, they wanted to pass this dark skies ordinance, which would limit you to only a 160-watt bulb on your house and no exterior lighting, because they wanted us to be able to see the stars. Now, first off, we're in Oregon, and it's almost 80% always overcast. Yeah. So I don't even know what they were thinking of. Stars, yeah. And I'm from the Southwest, and I can tell you, Oregon, we're one of the darkest damn states I've ever lived in. Not just morally, but actually, you know what I mean? It's dark out here. Yeah. Maybe it's the 120-foot trees that surround us. I don't know. Could be.
Yeah, there's not a lot of light pollution because we don't have a lot of large cities. And the one thing I was going to ask you when you're out walking around this evening, when you're stretching your back and trying to figure out how to get your computer to work again, if it was clear skies, you're supposed to be able to see a comet. If you look up at the Big Dipper, there's a comet that's supposed to be visible from the 14th to the 22nd of October. So you should be able to see a comet in the sky now. So if you got dark skies, go look for a comet.
Yeah, no kidding.
And we'll do that.
I don't know anything about this. Joseph, do you know anything about this Boots Across America?
I have not heard. No.
Oh, that's tomorrow.
Is that tomorrow?
Yeah, that looks tomorrow.
Yeah, Saturday, October 18th.
There you go. Much better. Let me.
Is that what you have on the screen?
Yeah, it's a tribute to Charlie Kirk. It's tomorrow, October 18th. Let's see, where is this caravan from every county of Oregon to the state capitol? Oh, this is that thing they're having for Charlie Kirk tomorrow. Aren't they collecting the signatures for the recall Tina Kotek? Well, yeah, it says right down here. Shit, I should just read. Michaela sends me this stuff, and she goes, Rob, you got to freaking actually read it. And then I'm thinking, Marty, this is exactly why you complain about us, because I'm not even fucking reading this shit. And it's right there on my screen. What the hell's the matter with me?
I can read it for you if you like. We're going to have to drop Michaela.
Because you have that great radio voice.
Okay, well, Boots Across Oregon, Caravan and Capital Rally. Oregonians, it's time to stand united. As we grieve the loss of patriot and Christian leader Charlie Kirk, we must channel our strength into action. Our Tina Kotek recall effort is expanding statewide with a powerful show of unity. Caravan from every county in Oregon to the state capitol, Saturday, October 18th. Arrive in Salem by 1 p.m. The rally begins at 2. Then we will caravan through Salem and onto I-5. We need volunteers in every county in very large numbers to establish starting points, map out routes, and coordinate petition signing pop-ups or tables along the way. Make history together, Oregon. How you can help. Organize a starting location in your county. Plan a route that gets your group to Salem by 1 p.m. Decorate your vehicles with American flags, patriotic banners, We Will Never Surrender, and Recall Tina Kotek signs. Spread the word and invite others to join. Contact Bill Minix, Chief Petitioner. And should I read the number, or do you want to just leave it at that?
No, go ahead and read it. Michaela will.
Okay, the number is 541-233-3267. That's 541-233-3267. The email address is OregonForThePeople@pm.me.
How many of you loved listening to Marty and that smooth voice?
I know. It's
was
cool.
pretty impressive. That was really impressive. Yes, sir. So,
make a radio voice at any time.
Backing up,
Okay.
I learned about this yesterday. I was Dan Tews from Clackamas asked me if I wanted to go with a group with him and his group. And I totally forgot about that because I was dealing with some personal stuff the last couple of days. And I do know about this. I learned about this yesterday. But I don't think I'd seen the flyer. I don't know that he sent me the flyer or anything. I'll have to go back and look. But CASA is court appointed special agent.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And Steve Hammerson, who has been diligently out there collecting those signatures. And Steve, you rock, let me tell you. And by the way, that Rick Dancer interview, I didn't get to see all of it yet, and I can't wait to see it, but I saw parts of it. And yeah, that was very good from what I saw. And I'm glad Rick took it that way. And I apologize for not calling him. Rick's an old friend of mine, and I was going to give him a call and let him know that he needed to contact you and get that story straight. So I'm glad there was people helping you out with all that stuff. But he said, I'll be doing an NVBN table if any of you guys want to go with me. So if anyone wants to go with Steve up to this thing, I should have been more organized. I got a busy day tomorrow. I just can't go, guys. Marty, were you going?
No, I'm actually taking my cat to the vet. I was doing fostering for a cat, and part of the deal is I have to take the cat to the vet for shots, and she's going to be spayed and all that good stuff. So
on a Saturday?
Yeah, that's when they scheduled it. They said, we want you to show up Saturday afternoon. I'm like, okie dokie.
Wow.
Yeah, I can do that.
That's a good vet.
Well, it's the Coos County Animal Shelter. So, so I guess they work with vets who would like take a day off or something and come in and do work. I'm not sure how it works. I don't run the joint. All I do is they said, hey, you want to foster a cat? And I said, sure. And they said, well, here, take this cat. And I'm like, okay. So now I have a cat.
Here's the caravan, Portland Metro Area Caravan meetup for Salem Capitol Rally, 10:15 a.m. Baldock Rest Area, I-5 South, Saturday, tomorrow. Same place, Oregon State Capitol, and the rally time is 1 o'clock. Speakers begin at 2. We will get a police escort and close streets to the Capitol. That's interesting.
Wow.
I wonder why that's going on.
That's what Dan Tews told me. That they said they were getting a police escort. So I'll need to reach out to Dan and tomorrow morning and see what's going on. I don't know the Baldock Rest Area. I have no clue where that's at.
Interesting.
So when they say caravan, like they're wanting like all counties to get together first and then do a caravan to Salem.
Yeah.
Is that what they're?
Yeah.
Oh, I get it now.
They want us to come flooding in. Flags are flying.
Oh, interesting.
So it's Clackamas County, Oregon, Baldock Rest Area. Don't see any other information on there. I should have done that on my computer. But Dan Tews is a good guy. He came down. You're going to love this story about Dan. You want to hear a good Dan story?
Sure.
All right. So Dan Toots, he's one of the people who Antifa would love to get hold of most of, you know what I mean? He's been around for a while. And so we had a deal where we had Kyle Rittenhouse flying in to Portland, right into the center of Portland. And he was going to come down here and go shooting with us, because if you're going to go shooting, who else do you want than Kyle Rittenhouse? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So Dan Toots picks up Kyle Rittenhouse right in the center of Portland, man, and brings him down. And we had the best time. We had the best weekend. The Republicans were having that convention. You were there.
I was there.
Yeah. So
I got my picture taken with Kyle.
Cool. That's very cool. He's a great kid. I mean, he was interesting to me, and it was even more interesting. We went shooting with this guy, but it was such a funny story, because then they had to take him out, back out the same way, and it was amazing how we got him out of there. And a week later, Antifa was saying, Kyle Rittenhouse, he's in Coos County, he's at the mill. Kyle Rittenhouse is at the mill. And we're like, yeah, that was last week, man. You really missed that, man.
You're late.
A little bit late.
I didn't know whether you knew that part of the story or not.
I didn't know that part of the story, but I met Dan Toots in 2020. He invited me down to Delta Park to speak at one of his Proud Boys events. They gave me their stage and gave me about 10 minutes to talk to the group of people, and that's when we had Antifa and Black Lives Matter group in two parks on either side of us, and we were at Delta Park over here. And they kept telling, we had police and sheriffs surrounding Delta Park. We did have a couple of Antifa guys who somehow found their way inside the park, so the cops weren't doing their jobs completely. But when you have a full park of Patriots and Proud Boys, and those guys didn't get very far. They were escorted out immediately.
Yeah.
So that's the first time I met Dan, and I've been talking to Dan over the last 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of good guys out there I've met just traveling back and forth. And I'm amazed I didn't meet you at some point in time, because it sounds like we were traveling once again. And, it's funny how I go back to Jeremy. We were at events with each other. You know what I mean? It's how funny how ships in the nights and in this it pass, you know what I mean? And so, it's kind of kismet the way it's pulling us all together. It's pulling us to this movement. It's pulling us to want to further and grow the party to something that's better than what it is today. And I can feel that. And I feel that in just the four of us who are sitting here, because of our attitudes and what we've been wanting to do.
During that same time, back in 2020, I got an opportunity to go speak over in downtown Vancouver. I forget the name of the park. It's right after you cross the I-5 bridge off to the west. Anyway, Joey Gibson was there. Got to meet him, and then they're like, well, you're running for mayor in Portland. Why are you speaking in Vancouver? Because there's a lot of people in Vancouver who have family members over here in Oregon. And if I can't see them, I can get to their family members and they can share. And I handed out a ton of my cards for that race, my business cards, and asked them to, and they were glad to take them. And they were, I'm going to give them to my brother, my sister, my mom, whoever is still living over in Portland. But Joey Gibson, there's another guy that's really cool. That guy is just amazing. Great to talk to.
Yeah.
The Baldock Rest Area is on I-5, and it's just as you cross over the Willamette River. So it's just below Wilsonville. You cross the river, and then the I-5 splits, and then there's another one that part of the road goes to Aurora, past the Aurora State Airport. So it's just below Wilsonville on the I-5. As soon as you cross the Willamette, once you make the turn, the rest area is right there.
You know,
Wow.
I've completely forgot about that. I had moved on.
Well, you still have the,
that was so cool.
Caravan up, so.
Yeah, we were having a good conversation. It was like you come out of nowhere. It was like, wow, I'm glad you just kind of circled right around there.
Yeah. Circling back.
Oh, shit, man. Well, I'll tell you what, Joseph, is there anything else you'd like to tell the audience? I think we're at 189 live viewers right now. Is there anything you would like to tell the night owls out there?
Well, listen for helicopters. I guess there's a new complaint in Multnomah County that ICE has their helicopters out there roaring around, creating a lot of problems. So I learned that today on the news. But if you live in Multnomah County and you're wanting to change the outlook, I am considering very strongly to run again for mayor of Portland. So hit me up if you think that's a good idea. I need to start making those final decisions on whether or not I want to run and hopefully try to make a change in the Portland area. And there'd be a lot of things I would change, and one of them is giving support to my law enforcement officers.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That
I
is-
think we need
that is
more
cool.
people running. So, and I think that the 2026 election, and this is May, right? May 2026
Yeah.
for mayor.
Yes, it'll be in May.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think, and Marty knows this, I think that a lot of things are even going to change in our state with the 2026 election. So there's a 17-page draft for the next election integrity executive order. And so that's coming down the pike. That's going to be to no vote by mail, no machines. So that's why we're doing hand counting right now.
I think that's where it's going to happen, Samantha, is that the president's executive orders, and hopefully, man, if you could get Congress to actually pass some election integrity legislation, and believe me, I don't want the federal government telling the counties or the states how to run elections. That's the last thing you really want to do, but there should be some I don't know, evening it out, getting rid of things like making sure the voter rolls are clean. I don't think that's really much to ask. And getting rid of and ending vote by mail, that's the worst ever. And the statistics show that. Marty knows the statistics of how many presidents we used to have that were Republican, and going back to the turn of the last century.
Well, before vote by mail, 71% of the governors in Oregon were Republican and 29% were Democrat. After vote by mail, 100% Democrat.
Yeah.
So that's all you need to know about, okay, do you think it's rigged? Uh-huh. Yeah, I want to go. I want to go to the county level. I want the voter rolls to be at the county level. I want all the voting to be at the precinct level, like it was when I was growing up, where you'd go to your local church, you'd go to your high school, you'd go to the high school cafeteria, you'd go to the Grange, whatever. You'd show up, and it'd be people you knew.
To my grade school.
Yeah, and it'd be people you know. You'd walk in, they go, "Hey, Marty, show me your ID." Okay, great. They'd check a box that say, "Yeah, you're registered for this precinct." And then they'd give you a ballot, and you'd go into a little box, and you'd mark it, and they'd throw it in the box. And the next morning, you'd have the full results the next day.
Yeah,
it's like
One
the
day
machines are going to make it faster and more secure, and blah 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 blah. Yeah, right. Yeah, I didn't
and
just fall off.
vote by mail has done none of that. It's
Right.
longer, it's more costly, and it was supposed to save us a ton of money, make things easier. Now we're 2 weeks after the cutoff date, and we still don't have a leader. But we have someone who's suspected as the leader.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So, and that leads me to mention about getting the Republican Party better. I think that Lynn County actually needs to be investigated, and I know that sounds, think about it this way. Ben Roach he's the anti-election integrity, end vote by mail. He wants to keep his vote by mail. Okay, he's in Lynn County. John Wright, he actually did the platform. He was part of the platform creation of it, right? And what happened with the platform? Well, election integrity was completely taken out of the platform.
Who was the credentialing chair? John Wright.
Yeah, and he was the credentialing chair, which, the system that they had for credentialing just busted, right? Or it wasn't working right, or
Right.
the credentialing went wrong, right? And they had a presumed quorum when they actually took the vote, not a real quorum or not an established quorum, but a presumed quorum when they took the vote. And then, of course, Jeremy and Jamie, they're out of Lynn County. So it's just a little bit odd that, all these people that are, that did all this stuff at the convention. I think that Lynn County, there's something up with them. So I think maybe they need to either be investigated or something needs to happen.
Well, we did talk to some people who are working there. Didn't the people we meet with at they're from Lynn County, and they've gone out on their own. They were recalled from the party in 2020. This is going back 5 years. And they now have created their own group where they've been very successful at recruiting candidates. And this is what we don't want in Coos County. I personally think we should be united Republicans working to get the best candidates. And you create these two different groups. It confuses people sometimes because now you have the Lynn County Republicans, from what I understand, going to this group to find candidates because they've been so successful at recruiting them. Yeah. So it's weird. And I don't want to badmouth anyone because I don't know what's going on in Lynn County. I just heard someone's side of the story at a restaurant. And so once again, I'm not there, so I can't really say, but when I work with people and they're on the same direction that I'm going, I want to work with them. And that's how I judge what they're doing. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes it easy. When we're working for the same thing and you can see that person alongside you doing what you're doing, it gives you that desire to pull up along with him and join forces and continue to roll. But when, unfortunately, I'm going to use my county, I got 100 PCPs that want to do something but won't commit to doing something, and that's difficult. It's very painful. So
I'm so glad you're the chair, though. Seriously, so a patriot that knew what was going on with the platform, awake, right? You're awake to what is going on. You're awake to what Mannix was doing. And there weren't a lot of people in that room that were awake to that. A lot of people were still mindless zombies asleep at the wheel, oh, my master, Mannix, my master, listen, but you are awake and you're the leader of the chair.
Well, and I'm gonna fall back on my core group of people who do everything. I had that information because of them. Yeah. They gave me the information. They kept me filled in. Now, the funny part is Kevin Mannix. My mom is not with us anymore. I lost her in 21. But you mentioned Kevin Mannix around my mom, and she would lose it. Oh, and she, like I said, Democrat. She would just lose it.
Yeah.
And I
should be friends. Sorry.
Right. But I've only had the opportunity to talk with him a few times, and I don't know. There's something about that guy that's just not right. I don't feel that he is going to do what's best for the Republican Party. I feel like he's going to do best for him.
Feeling. I've known How long have you known Mannix?
I personally, I only met him 3 years ago for the first time. So I've only known him for a very short time, and I've only had very short meetings with him.
How long have you known him, Bob?
I've known him probably about 18 years, and going back to when Kevin Starrett, he hated Mannix. He was never a big Mannix fan because Mannix, he loved gun laws. He loved passing a lot of gun laws, and he pretended like he didn't want to pass gun laws, and Kevin called him out on it. And of course, immediately they say, oh, he's that radical running a fringe group, you know, and that's how they labeled him. And funny how I'm that same label now. But once again, it's his actions, it's his voting record. But I called him one time because someone asked me to call him on the Second Amendment sanctuary ordinance, and he did everything he could to water down the ordinance. It was basically going to be a platitude to the Second Amendment. And I was looking for a real ordinance that had a directive and punished any of the one in the government who didn't follow that directive. And it was a very serious law. It was written by Tyler Smith, and working with Mannix and knowing Mannix and dealing with Mannix in the party. And going back to what you were saying, Samantha, he has, like I've said before, that hair trigger, machine gun, rapid fire, gavel movement. I mean, he moves right through the process. He knows the process well, and he's an attorney, and you can't argue with him because by the time you start arguing with him, he's on to the next step and the next process. And
that does we the people, or we the delegates, no justice whatsoever. You know, you are supposed to be non-biased, a parliamentarian, and you're supposed to have no view. But the day before, he got up and said, oh, I love this new platform, and everybody should just stop what they're doing and vote for the platform right now and vote on it because I love it, you know. And so you knew he had that view. So Saturday comes around and he's just like, well, anything but this new platform I don't like. And so he just moves on. He actually got Kathy Lynn, I don't know what she thinks she is as an officer or an executive board member, but he actually called on her a couple of times. Remember that, Joseph? To get up and move on to the next plank.
Oh, yes. Yes. I do recall that.
That's our indoctrinated little I don't know what they've got going on there, but yeah, she was like, yes, sir.
Because Matthew Barron called him out on that. My secretary called him out for doing that. He's like, no, he goes, point of information, point of something.
That's your secretary?
That's my secretary, and he's also my parliamentarian.
I want to move to your county. Seriously, he's an awesome guy. Yeah. Sorry.
He's a guy, Rob, that I should get you in contact with. You would love to talk with him. He is very wise for a young man. He's very wise, very smart.
Yes.
He's got all his ducks in a row, and he knows what he wants to do. I would, if he would run for chair for Multnomah County, I would step away and let him go. That's what I think of him.
So that's the most important thing that we can do is find our replacements. And, we can't select them because the people run the party. The PCPs run the party. And I'm not going to groom anyone. I'm not going to direct anyone. I'm just going to help everyone get the same type of knowledge and spread that knowledge and information. Because, we just talked about this. I go back a long way. I know where some of these skeletons are buried. And so you can educate these kids on what's really going on, because they're going to listen to these senators. They're going to listen to these representatives. They're going to be fed a lot of fluff. And that fluff isn't going to take them anywhere. And old guys like me, I know I'm just in Coos County. I mean, I'm just limited by my border. You know what I mean? It's geography.
Yeah.
So I'm not going anywhere. I plan to die here. And so any information that I can pass on and have those young people follow in my steps doing what I'm doing now, that's better than anything I can do, because I'm just flesh and blood. I'll be gone and the ideas will go if you don't pass those on. And that's the greatest thing. If any true leader, anyone who wants to be a mentor, that's what they have to pass on, is that information. And we need to do that in the party, because we're getting old and we're dying off. I mean,
you're not dead yet.
Not yet.
No, not yet. So we got 5 minutes left, right?
Yeah. Rumors of my death are greatly exaggerated.
Hey, I'm allowed to rant. It's the title of the show.
Friday Night Rants. It's not called Friday Night Milk Toast Gathering now, is it?
I had my rant.
Yeah, you had a little rant there.
I got my rant in. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm content. I don't know if I ranted or not, but I'm content.
Yeah. You were going really well at the beginning of the show. I mean, that was an incredible story you told, and I appreciate it. And we're going to have to get you back on. And any contacts that you have up there that would like to get on here and talk about it, I know that a lot of pretty influential people are watching this show because they want to know what's going on in politics, and I know a lot of people out there who are the activists. They're the ones who are running the show, literally. So
right. I will reach out to Matthew, and if he's game, I will pass his information on to you, and or I'll pass your information on to him and have him reach out to you, and maybe you guys can work something out. I'd almost want to be on that show with him, because I love listening to that guy. He's just amazing. And
let's do it. Come back again. We'll, maybe in a month or so, and let's do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Because,
sounds like a plan.
Yeah, I love. Friday nights are hard to get people at 8:00, and they're like, really 8:00 Friday? I don't know, Rob. That's kind of crazy. And then, then I have to tell them what the show is. And how do you describe what we're doing? You know what I mean? We're shooting the shit just like we're sitting at the bar is really what I want to do.
And I didn't know what to expect. I jotted down some notes of things that I might want to talk about, and we covered everything. But I kind of like this atmosphere. It was nice. We, outside of talking about what's going on, we got a chance to learn about each other, and that was nice. That's how we build each other up. We learn, and so I really appreciate tonight. Thank you very much for having me on.
No problem. We'll get you back again, and let's do this. Make it some regular thing. Yeah, this would be cool. All right, you take care, Joseph.
Thank you. You guys have a great night.
Good night.
Bye, you guys.
Good night.
Yeah.
Oh wait, is that how you're supposed to wave?
Yeah, the handshake. I'm sorry, I didn't give him the handshake. Samantha, before you get out of here, do you have anything you want to say? And thank you for coming on the show. I know it was short notice. I do appreciate it. I love you coming on here.
Not a problem whatsoever. Yeah, I'm always loving the rant stuff. So, and when I found out that Joseph was coming on, I was like, ooh, because I haven't talked to him since the convention. So, and Joseph and I got to know each other just waiting for the police. So, yeah.
I always love stories like that. Well,
that is nice. Yeah, you get to meet. Yeah.
Well,
we learned about each other waiting for the police. But it was when the ambulance showed up that we really made a connection.
Well, yeah, I mean, because it was funny because Michaela said, tapped him on the shoulder and said, I witnessed everything. I can be a witness. And I was like, that I should probably report to the police what happened to me the night prior, because the guy tried to fight me the night prior. And when I reported it to the hotel, they were interested in hearing it. But when I reported it to the police, they said, oh, okay. And I'm like, what do you mean, okay? Like the same guy threatened me the night prior. And I was like, do you want to review that camera footage too? And they're like, no. Oh. Okay. And so I just found myself like, but we were waiting we waited probably an hour and a half. So Joseph and I got to know each other pretty good. Just by
But
waiting
honest
out.
with you, the cops were probably annoyed that they had to deal with this, and that's why they were so nonchalant about it. And the fact you guys were Republicans, and that really probably annoyed them too. I think they were just whatever. Let them kill each other, and the Lord will sort it out.
Well, they were either woke or had motivation for something. I don't know.
And you never can discount that. I mean, David Brock Smith is a dirtbag. I just don't see him intelligent enough to do it, but I don't put it past him doing it. You know what I mean?
Well, he's used his senator position before. You know that. He's done that several times before. And, you better do what he's doing because he's a senator. He'll make sure that he's a senator.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't have any evidence of it, but it just seemed pretty weird.
Very suspicious.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you take care, okay?
You too. I'll see you guys later. Bye.
See you later. Bye-bye. That's so nice that she was on. I appreciate that. And we might as well get to this. What are we at? 11:30? That's what, 3.5 hours?
Yeah, we are 3 hours and 29 minutes into it. So we've got 60 seconds to wrap it up. Let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here. 541-294-1800-3H3 service.
That's
yes,
right.
for those Antifa trees. You got trees. They got bad trees out there. You got branches. They're over your eaves. They're over your cars. They're causing a liability. Call 3H3 service, 541-294-1800. And
there you go.
They got a Facebook. All right, let's go here. Tom and Giggs. I just saw Tom and Giggs today. Not Tom and Giggs, but Tim over in Tom and Giggs.
I saw your post on Facebook. It looked like a pretty cool shop.
Oh, that was a very cool shop. And Tim is doing quite well. If you didn't need shocks, struts, all that good stuff, he can take care of you. You can find him at 541-888-4660. That's 135 South Shoneman Street in the Empire neighborhood in Coos Bay. Look at that. Lift kits, performance accessories, Tom and Giggs. I think they sold the surfboard. I'm going to have to update this.
The RC Surfer is gone.
The RC Surfer is gone, man. And there was a couple of kids in there checking out cars. It was pretty cool.
Snooze, you lose. There you go. But they still have lots and lots of RC cars. If you want RC car parts, if you want parts or you want full cars or you want some advice on how to make it better, go there. And they have RC airplanes like the Mitsubishi Zero or the P-51 Mustang or the F-4U Corsair. But wait, there's more. They actually have a Hero-copter, not to be confused with a helicopter. This is a Hero-copter. And of course, Tannerite. You got to be, over 18 to get Tannerite?
I think you do.
There you are. Must be over 18 years of age to purchase Tannerite. You will be asked to show ID. So there.
Herbal Choices. I went there tonight. I had one of my special sodas.
Was that when you were out doing a walkabout? You walked down to Herbal Choices and got it?
I walked down to Herbal Choices. They're so close to Bandon, I could just walk down there and the phone just totally picked up that Wi-Fi. It was great. It's amazing how far that goes. And Herbal Choices there for all your cannabis needs. They're going to have big Halloween sale. So check it out.
Oh, nice. It sounds
herbalchoices.com. And you got to be 21 years older.
You got to be 21. So you're 18 to get Tannerite, 21 to get gummies and pot and all that good stuff. And they're in 5 convenient locations. That's right. They're in Reedsport. They're in Coos Bay. They're in Charleston. They're in Bandon. They're in North Bend. They're right next to the gun store in Bandon. So get your pot, get your gun, get some ammo.
All right. I think we're good. I'm set here. I got to go to the restroom. And
are we doing a pop-up this week?
So we should have the headquarters by Monday, Tuesday at the latest.
Okay.
And so I figure we'll just tell everyone to go to the headquarters and get signatures, and we'll populate that area. And it's nice. It's got a bathroom. It's inside, and it's
and it's supposed to start raining and all that good stuff. So
let's
And of course, if you need any help populating the new headquarters and moving chairs and tables and stuffage, then we can carpool from Bandon and get her done.
You're damn right. And Monday it may happen. So it's amazing how much insurance is for that stuff.
I know. I saw that. I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on insurance. So we'll be here another 3 hours. So with that, anything else we need
with
to
that,
we're out of here.
And you know what I always say? Carry on, Goose County. Carry on in this stream.